Good evening to all of you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Waiting for 2-3 minutes. If others will join, anybody who will join. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Waiting for 2-3 minutes if anybody else will join. Huh? Good evening. Good evening.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone.
Yes, yes. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Waiting for 1 or 2 minutes. It is 8.03. Waiting for further 2 minutes. Huh? Just last 1 minute more. I'm waiting if anybody else will join. Otherwise, we will start. So let's start. Can you all see the screen? Can you hear my voice properly?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So before proceeding, is there any doubt, general or maybe specific, what we studied in the last class? Any specific doubt anybody has before proceeding? Anything to ask? As I always say, don't take tension that what others will think. You are here for your own benefit, for your own objective. So don't think that what others will think. आप दूसरे की बात पे मत ध्यान दीजिए. Focus on your requirement, your understanding and everything. Ajay ji, have you done the recording of the last class? Ajay ji, no. So this is a very bad thing, sir. When the class was free on YouTube for everybody, it is uploaded on YouTube freely. This is the first thing. No, sir. Even though you are traveling, you can do the recording, sir. What's the problem, sir? When you are traveling, then definitely you are getting some free time when you don't have anything to do. You are traveling. It's, you can say, jaha chah wahan rah. Where there is a will, there is a way. Because अभी तो आप ये पूछ लेंगे, लेकिन 4 क्लास बाद आप एग्जाम वगैरह दोगे ही नहीं. You are not going to give exam. Then it will be creating a bigger issue, sir. ये क्वेश्चन आते का मतलब क्या है कि हम लोग कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे हैं. So be sure that in 3-4 classes, if you are not following me and you are not studying the way I am asking, it's impossible that we will be giving exam or we will be passing the exam. It's a secondary thing. And I think we are not studying for giving the exam and passing the exam. As I said in the last class, the purpose is not to give the exam and pass the exam. The purpose is to study so that we can solve the problems practically. So whatever we started in the last class, we will be studying that only, non-current assets. Non-current assets have approximately 10 IAS IFRS. All those 10 IAS IFRS we are going to cover in 4 to 5 classes. IAS 16, IAS 20, IAS 40, then IFRS, IAS 23, IFRS 5, IFRS 15, IFRS 16. Now, अगर मैं ये बोल भी रहा हूं, कुछ समझ में आएगा नहीं सर. अगर अनलेस कुछ नॉलेज पहले से है, ठीक है ना, तो मेरा एडवाइस है कि सभी लोग सीरियस हो जाएं. अदरवाइज किसी का कुछ भला होना नहीं. There will be no gain anybody will be getting. Whether you are a CMA student, whether you are an ACCA student, whether you are an IFRS student, doesn't matter. Everybody need to study accounts. How to prepare financial statement. While preparing financial statement, What are the different types of adjustments which arises, which are tricky? How can we do those adjustments? How they need to be presented in the financial statement? When the financial statements are prepared, how can we read? How can we understand the financial statement so that we can help the users of the financial statement? Whether it's an investors, whether it's somebody providing goods and services to the organization, whether somebody giving loan money to the organization, whether somebody buying goods and services from the organization, any party. When they will be looking at the financials, they cannot understand because they are not knowledgeable in this field. Our job is to help them, to make them ready, to analyze and take the decisions in life. That is the job of the accountant. So we are discussing that in our classes, whether it's an SBR student, whether it's an IFRS student, whether it's a CMA student, doesn't matter. ये सब बात हम लोग यहाँ नहीं कर रहे हैं, ठीक है ना? So in the last
Hello.
class, yes sir.
सर मेरे को एक डाउट वो है कि जो आपने लास्ट लेक्चर में बोला था वो डिसकंटिन्यूड ऑपरेशंस वाला,
हाँ,
तो अगर डिसकंटिन्यूइंग ऑपरेशंस है तो इन दैट केस व्हाट विल बी द एग्जैक्ट सिनेरियो? आई मीन द कंपैरेटिव्स वो प्रीवियस ईयर का मिलना, हाउ कैन वी कैलकुलेट दैट? क्योंकि जो डिसकंटिन्यूड ऑपरेशन है वो पर्टिकुलर मोमेंट को पता चलेगा या वी विल एनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कैन डिसाइड दैट? तो मेरे को वो एक क्वेरी था। और दूसरा एक था कि जो डिसीजंस कैन बी चेंज बाय द स्टेक होल्डर्स इफ देयर इज एनी मटेरियल मिसस्टेटमेंट, तो उसको रिकॉर्ड करने के लिए क्या गाइडेंस नोट या कुछ है?
actually there are two things here. First thing, I have not explained the discontinued operation very detailed. मैंने बोला कि बाद में एक IFRS आएगा, IFRS 5, assets held for sale and discontinued operation. Most probably in the next class only, not in the today's class, or maybe next class में अगर नहीं आ पाया तो उसके बाद वाली क्लास में. Then we will cover that assets held for sale and discontinued operation very detailed. But I gave just a simple example so that थोड़ा सा तो समझ में आए कि I said that कि suppose I am taking, when I am giving this example, this is not a correct example. But the purpose of giving this example is just to make you understand for the time being. वही मैंने पिछले दिन किया था, वही मैं अभी भी कर रहा हूं कि suppose I am teaching for SBR, ACCA, I am teaching for diploma IFRS, I am teaching for CIMA, I am teaching for CPA, I am teaching for different courses. Suppose one of the courses I want to stop. Suppose diploma IFRS I want to stop. It is not an operation for me. I am not giving a correct example. But for the time being, this example can be correlated in very simple way. For that reason, I am giving. Suppose I will decide that I will not be teaching for diploma IFRS going forward. This is my last batch for diploma IFRS. Just say for example. Now in the year 23-24, 1st April 23 to 31st March 2024, I have taught in diploma IFRS approximately new students around 200. Because when we start the batches in 6 months, then normally we get 100 students. Diploma IFRS in a year, new students are 200. That means in the year 23-24, when I got a revenue from those 200 students, in the next year 24-25, that revenue will not be there because I'm not going to teach. I am discontinuing those operations. So that revenue will not be there. And relating to IFRS, whatever my expenditures, maybe material or anything, those expenditures will not be there in future. Suppose relating to diploma IFRS, for 200 students, the revenue is 50 lakh, around 25,000 per. I am saying all the practical aspect. You can take this example for your organization where you all are working. आप वहां यूज करिए, आपको फीलिंग आएगी, ज्यादा फीलिंग आएगी. So 20,000, 200 students, 25,000 each, 50 lakh revenue. I am getting from IFRS a separate operation. I am not going to continue in 24-25 this operation. So my revenue from IFRS 50 lakh in 24-25 will not be there. And my expenditures relating to IFRS for generating that 50 lakh revenue will not be there. Suppose the expenditures relating to 50 lakh, it's say 20 lakh. So in the coming year, neither the revenue from IFRS operations will be 50 lakh and neither the expenditures relating to IFRS will be 20 lakh. So when I will prepare profit and loss account in the current year 23-24, I will be showing my revenue, expenses and everything relating to IFRS as a separate line item. I will be showing tuition fees. In the tuition fees, I will not be showing IFRS tuition fees. I will be showing tuition fees of ACCA, CIMA, CPA, CMA, US. I will not be showing tuition fees of IFRS under the revenue. I will not be showing the expenditures of IFRS under the expenditure heading. I will be recording all my income and expenditures of 23-24, excluding my IFRS, that will be treated as profit or loss from continuing operations. And from IFRS, I will calculate separate income, expenditures, everything. And I will say that profit or loss from discontinuing operations, 30 lakh. In the current year, I have not discontinued. In the current year, I have decided I will not continue. So in the future, this revenue or expenditures relating to IFRS will not be there in Saraf Academy because I am stopping that. So I am giving information to everybody in the world through my financial statement. Ki bhai, in Saraf Academy, this is the discontinued operation loss or gain. This discontinued operation loss or gain will not arise again in future. So if it is a loss in 24-25, this loss will not be there. If it is a gain in 24-25, this gain will not be there. Somebody will say that as a business decision, when I am already earning in IFRS, why I will stop? You understand that the resources are limited. I cannot teach every course. The time, resources are limited. So if I find that whatever resources I am utilizing for IFRS, if that resources I will use in my major resources, in my major product, in place of 30 lakh, I will be earning 50 lakh, 100 lakh and all. So मेरे को IFRS नहीं करना है. It's okay. That is my business decision. But through my financials, I am explaining, I am reporting to the whole world that this is my discontinued operations, profit or loss. And in practical life, not in exam, in practical life, I need to present current year information and last year information, comparatives. When I will prepare Saraf Academy PL account for 23-24, I need to prepare for 22-23 also. Not prepare. Whatever prepared last year, I need to give as a comparative. Last year, I had not decided that I will not be teaching IFRS. So last year, all 5 courses revenue was there included in the total revenue. But now since this year 23-24, I have decided I will not teach IFRS. So even 22-23 results, when I will present as a comparative, I will show in 22-23 the IFRS income or expenditures in one single line item. So that in the current year also, in the last year also, anybody looking at the financials, they will come to know ki bhai ye wala future mein it is not going to come. In future, this is not going to arise because this is discontinued. So when you are looking at the accounts of a company, financial statement, you are projecting about the future also. While buying shares, you project future. While giving loan, you project future. While working in the company as a staff, you project future. So the accounts should give that projection, that future feeling. And if that is not presented as a separate line item, then how I will project? For that reason, when I discussed the PL account format, because I said we have not studied anything. Entire preparation of PL account balance sheet, we will be able to learn in 2 months, not today. But then what is the format? If you don't remember, then you will not get a feeling whenever we will study later. So यहाँ पर PL account में आप ध्यान दोगे, मैंने जब PL account का format यहाँ बनाया है, like in this discontinued, when it is presented, you can see I am saying profit or loss for continuing operations. That is, in my example, SEMA, ACCA, CMA, CPA. All these. And then discontinued operation means IFRS. From IFRS, what is my income, loss, profit, gain? That is current year and even in the last year. The decision taken in the current year, this is a discontinued operation. Last year it was not, but last year I am showing separately for the same operation. So that anybody, you, me, or anybody looking at the financials, we understand that this is not going to arise again because the company is discontinuing. For that reason, we are preparing the income statement like this. Now, further nitty-gritties into this, we will be going in subsequent classes, जहां पर ये आएगा. अभी थोड़ा बोलने में, because you understand that, Ravis, कि मैं अगर सबके बारे में बोलने लग जाऊं, how I will make you understand, then how I will explain the basics. तो पहले बेसिक्स थोड़ा और बेटर समझना होगा, देन इसके अंदर घुसेंगे. द एग्जाम्पल विच आई हैव गिवन, दिस एग्जाम्पल इज नॉट अ परफेक्ट एग्जाम्पल, बट फॉर द टाइम बीइंग टू गेट अ फीलिंग दैट व्हाट इज अ डिसकंटिन्यूड ऑपरेशन, मैंने ये एग्जाम्पल दिया है. वैसे ही अब जो दूसरा चीज बोल रहे हैं, मेटेरियलिटी एंड ऑल दैट, दिस वी विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड बिकॉज फॉर मेटेरियलिटी ऑल IFRS, IAS आर रेलेवेंट. When I will be teaching some few IAS, IFRS, then you will understand the concept of materiality. In simple English language, material means important. Material means anything which is significant. So accounting says that any transaction, any assets, any liability, any expense, any income, which is material, that means the value of that item in comparison to whole items is very significant, very high value. Now, there is no definition given in accounts for material items. They are just saying it is important, it is significant, it is going to affect the decision of the users. Then those items cannot be mixed with other item. Like we are saying, in PL account, we are recording revenue, cost of sale. Cost of sale is not one item. Cost of sale is purchases, production cost, material, labor, overhead. So many things are there. Those breakups are there where? In the practical life, you will find there is a column schedule. For revenue, schedule 1. For cost of sale, schedule 2. For distribution, schedule 3, like that. Schedule or annexure. But in the exam or in study, we are not writing schedule because for everything, in the exam, they cannot tell you 20, 30 items. Because when we prepare financial statement in practical life, that is prepared by so many persons with the software and all that. Automatically, it is prepared in the software IT. But exam mein to sab, we need to prepare on our own, na? So they cannot ask you that for every item you have a bigger schedule. So we will be writing in the question solving in exam when there are details. But the cost of sale has 10, 15, 20 items. Those 10, 15, 20 items are there in the annexure or in the schedule. Now, suppose in the schedule of cost of sale, there are 15 items. But believe me, in the company, it's not that only 15 expenditures are there. You will find that every organization, there is a term called general expenditures. What is this general? The general means there are so many things, small, which are not material, which are not significant, and they are combined together. और उन सबको मिलाकर एक heading बना दिया गया. There is a heading which organization use general expenditure. But if the expenditure amount for any item is significant, material, again further example, suppose in a company turnover is only 10 lakh in a year, turnover is 10 lakh. So there the material item can be 5,000, 10,000 also. But in a company turnover is 100 to $100 million. So there 5,000, 10,000 cannot become a material item. We need to involve subjectivity. Subjectivity is involved in saying that this item is material, significant, important or not. तो जब कोई item material होगा, उसको हम लोग को अलग से we need to show its importance on the profit, its amount changing, so that we can analyze the percentage of that item on the financial statement. We will be able to analyze. That is called materiality. That we will be able to, I am not saying that in the accounting, there is a conceptual framework And in the conceptual framework, they have explained materiality. They have explained substance over form. They have explained faithful presentation. But if I will start telling those things in the class in the beginning, it will be very boring. I will be explaining those things, materiality, faithful representation, substance over form. I will explain. But at the end, what is the benefit? At that time, I will be able to give example that in this chapter, we have studied this. This is the example of materiality. This is the example of faithful presentation. This is the example of substance over form. Because while teaching the subject continuously day by day, I will be saying many places, this is materiality, this is substance. So when I will revise that at the end, the conceptual framework, then you will be able to correlate, yeah, this we know. This is the meaning of. So I have not explained in the beginning the conceptual framework of accounting. Even every book is saying first chapter conceptual framework. But that is very difficult to explain in the beginning. And at the same time, it will be boring also. Because if we don't know the accounting properly, explaining the conceptual framework will become difficult. So मैंने अभी ये सब जो चीज है उसको खाली ऊपर ऊपर से go through किया है. I just said in the last class, you can read, but your objective is to what? Your objective is to just have an understanding of the format of balance sheet, PL account, and statement of changes in equity. At least what is the format? First, what you saw, non-current, current assets in the liability, equity, non-current liability, current liability in the PL account, sales, cost of goods sold, gross profit, admin, selling, operating income, then interest, other income, then PBT, tax, PAT, that PAT is profit or loss from continuing operation, discontinued operation, total, फिर उसके बाद other comprehensive income, then statement. थोड़ा सा format ध्यान होने से better रहेगा. If you I mean to say, have a control over the format. Then when we are discussing different aspects, and I will be telling this is shown in the balance sheet, under this head, in the PL account, under this heading, under this item, then your correlation will be better. But उसके अंदर जो item है, say non-current assets. Relating to non-current assets, we are going to study in 5 classes, different IAS, IFRS. I have not explained the non-current assets while explaining the format of the PL account or balance sheet. It's not possible. It will be discussed gradually. So I have not explained the discontinued operation properly. Just for the sake of, in place of 0, going in a basement, and from the basement, suppose we are in the first floor, but we need to reach to the top floor if the building is of 20th floor. Abhi hum log basement se bas, we are using some stairs. So abhi, I'm not in a position to give you full detail about discontinued operations, the definition, why it is defined as such, what is asset held for sale and all that, करेंगे. लेकिन एक basic understanding I developed. I have started explaining non-current assets, which is IAS 16 property plan. वहां से हमारा syllabus चालू हुआ है. और उसके पहले I said format of all the 3 things. आपको थोड़ा बहुत मालूम होना चाहिए. Are you getting? राविस जी, बात समझ में आ रही है? हेलो मिस्टर राविस. Because the question was raised by Mr. Ravis, I think internet issue. He logged in 2-3 times, but again logged off, log in, logged off. है नहीं वो अभी क्लास में. But maybe suppose the doubt raised by Ravis. अच्छा राविस. हाँ सर जी बोलिए. आवाज नहीं आ रही है अब. You can chat because voice is not coming, sir. Like when I'm saying, you can see the audio is blinking. In your case, there is no audio coming. Okay, sir. Not clear, but for the time being, a basic understanding developed. Clear to tab hoega when we will study IFRS 5, assets held for sale and discontinued operations. At that time, it will be 100% clear. Presently, you can say 5-10% understanding developed. Yeah. I give the same example only in the last class, just for the sake of understanding. कि मैं कोई कोर्स बंद कर रहा हूं, मैं नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा, मे बी आई हैव नॉट गिवन एग्जांपल ऑफ डिप्लोमा IFRS एनीथिंग, कि जिससे एक बेसिक माने बेस कैन बी स्टैब्लिश्ड. Okay. Anybody else? Any specific query? Like Ravis raised, anybody has any specific query? So let's proceed. Okay. In the last class, in the beginning, I discussed there is a common aspect which is called present value, future value concept. That will be requiring in so many IAS, IFRS. Even though we are not studying finance, we are studying accounts. But फिर भी, I always teach in the first class, in the beginning only, कि what is present value, future value. Present value is excluding interest, future value is including interest. In accounting also, we need to have this concept ready. Then I started with the non-current assets. And in the non-current assets, we were discussing IAS 16, property, plant and equipment. शुरू से यहां से चालू कर रहे हैं. Maybe I explained in the last class, but एक बार वहां से मैं फिर से, maybe what I explained in half an hour, I will be explaining in 5 to 10 minutes, so that a warm up, a rhythm can be started. Huh? Because if somebody like Ajay or anybody has not studied anything, then I'm trying my level best so that a revision can be done. But then this way, we can understand in the second or third class. After the 4 or 5 classes, if you are not understanding, you automatically will not join the class and you will destroy your study for June term. And then you will say that, sir, June ke liye it is possible to prepare. Sir, it is purely possible. I have already said in the last class. वो सब वापस बात करके फायदा नहीं. When I am taking class in this classroom, in this room, I am using a computer, I am using a laptop, I am using a camera, I am using furniture, chair, kursi and all that. I am using, what do you say, printer, you can see on the back, so many things are there. Whether in your class it is required or not doesn't matter. But then these are the assets which I am always using in every batch to conduct the classes. Now, these things I am using for years. 3, 4, 5 years. Camera I am using for 7 to 8 years. The computer I am using for 3 to 4 years. The laptop I am using since more than 2 years. The furniture I am using for more than 10 years. So many things I am using. Why these are called non-current? Non-current means any asset which will be used in producing or supply of goods, or for rental, or for administrative purpose for more than a period. I cannot remember this definition, and I am not suggesting anyone to try to remember. No point in practical life in exam remembering the definition. This is written by copy pasting from the Kaplan. Kaplan has taken it from the IFRS write-up. IAS 16, they have, you can do Google search IAS 16 write-up. It will be definitely around 100 to 200 pages. And from there, Kaplan has copied the definition of property, plant and equipment. They have written in their book, and then I have copy pasted from there here. So it is not a property of Kaplan. It is not a property of Prakash Saraf. It is a property of the body who has published IFRS, IAS. The body name is International Accounting Standard Board, IASB. Earlier, the body name was International Accounting Standard Committee, Council. In 21st century, restructuring took place and the name was changed to board. कोई मतलब नहीं यार. That body, that council, that committee said that anybody for their purpose can use these definition. So अगर कोई भी copy कर रहा है तो nobody is doing any unethical thing or anything. आप इसको copy करके अपने लिए लिख लीजिए. There is no copyright for this. Copyright, any definition explained by any law, any standard or anything, and you were copying that. That is not a copyright. You are saying that this is explained by IAS 16. But question copy karne ka nahi. Question is, can we go inside this language or not? How much we are deep enough to understand these 3-4 lines? This is written in a font size of 20. Normally, it is written in a font size of 10. So it will be coming 2 lines only. Just that for a better clarity, for better understanding, the font size has been increased. And in between write-up, some more write-up are given by my own. And in the class, I'm not reading any of these things because this I'm assuming you all will be reading when the class will be over. These materials are shared with all of you. If somebody is not reading, somebody is not following whatever instruction given in the first class, never you will be getting success in life. Forget about pass and fail in the exam. The purpose is not pass and fail. The purpose is only knowledge. I'm saying that all these assets I'm using for teaching, for conducting my training classes. And all these assets, computer, laptop, furniture, this property, I'm going to use for that purpose only. These assets are not going to give me money today. These assets are already giving me money for several years, and they will be giving money in future also. Whenever you say an asset which is not a current, non-current, the non-current asset will be used in the business for doing business activities, whether it's administration, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's marketing, whether it's anything, will be used in doing business activities for many years. And they are not for sale. I am not a person who will be selling computer, laptop, property, furniture. This is not my business. My business is providing training classes. For conducting training classes, whatever assets I am using year after year, that is called non-current assets for Saraf Academy. Similarly, your organization, whatever business they are doing, I don't want to go into that. For doing the business, they are using different kind of assets. I don't have any plant or machinery. You can say computer, laptop, camera, for me is a plant and machinery. In your organization, maybe manufacturing organization. Suppose you are working in ITC company. So ITC company for tobacco, ITC company for different types of, so many machines they are using. You are working in Maruti for producing the car. They are using different types of machines and all that. जिसका जो business है भाई, जिसका whatever business any organization is doing for conducting their business activities on day-to-day basis, they are using assets, and those assets will be used by the organization for many years, at least more than a year. Then those assets are called non-current assets. Then what is a current asset? We have separate IAS, IFRS for current asset also. We will be doing IAS 2, inventory. We will be doing those a cash flow, IFRS 7, cash flow statement. We have. But I mean to say that the current assets is going to give me money in a very short period of time, generally within a year or within the accounting period cycle. Maybe for some organization, the accounting period is greater than a year. Suppose you are a construction company. You build building, roads and all that. For you, building roads and all that is inventory. Because आपका काम ही है building roads बनाना. But the building and roads are not going to give you cash flow within a year. Maybe the building will be constructed in 3 years. Even though you are going to get money by sale of building in 3 years, but that is a current assets. The current assets means which are your business, which you regularly purchase and sell. The current assets are those which are generally going to give you money within 1 year or maybe in one business cycle. They are current assets. We are talking about non-current assets. The assets which is not our business. The assets which we are not purchasing and selling. The assets which we are using in our business activities. And those assets will be used for more than a year. They are called non-current assets. They will be used in conducting business operational activities. Those operational activities can be manufacturing, production, marketing, administration, or anything. It is written for rental. Suppose you are a construction company. You are making many properties, and then those properties you are not selling, you are letting it out. आप वो प्रॉपर्टी को सेल नहीं करते, आप उसको लेट आउट. आपका दो बिजनेस है. देयर आर मेनी प्रॉपर्टीज यू माने कंस्ट्रक्ट एंड देन सेल, एंड देयर आर मेनी प्रॉपर्टीज यू कंस्ट्रक्ट एंड देन लेट आउट. If you are a construction company and you are not going to sell the property, but you are going to use the property for rental purpose, that is also property, plant and equipment. That is not inventory. For a construction company, inventory means you are going to sell that house, sell that property. But if you are going to let out a property, then that property is also property, plant and equipment, non-current assets. It is not a current asset. Suppose me, Saraf Academy, have surplus money. That surplus money I have invested in a property, and that property I will let out, or that property I will keep for capital appreciation, but I will not do any business activity in that property. For me, the business is not construction. The business is not constructing property and letting out. I am not a construction company. For me, I have surplus money, and the surplus money I have invested in property, and that property I am letting out, or that property I am keeping for capital appreciation, but I am not doing any business activity. For me, that property is not IAS 16. There is a separate IAS we will try to study today only, if the time permits. There is no, I meant to say, haphazard way that I need to complete only. I am thinking I will be able to reach there. Maybe some extra question by student. I will not be able to, no tension. For me, that property will be called investment property. Investment property is IAS 40. We will be studying later, either in the today's class or in the next class, whatever. But for a construction company, if they are constructing a property and they are letting out that constructed property, for them, property construction is a business. And they are letting out a constructed property. They are not selling. For them, it is IAS 16 non-current assets. But for me, surplus money invested in a property, maybe for letting out for capital, for me, it is not property, plant and equipment. It is investment property. Investment property we will discuss, not discussing now. Inventory we will discuss later, not recently. The current assets part we will discuss later. But then we need to be clear in our mind. What is a property, plant and equipment? Land, building, plant, machinery, furniture, fixture, computer, laptop, any asset, man, any asset which you can think in your mind, coming under IAS 16 property, plant and equipment. Just conditions are, it should not be your business. For Maruti company, car manufacturing and selling car. Car is not property, plant and equipment. They are doing business. Suppose this is a HP computer laptop. For HP company, computer laptop is not a non-current assets. For them, it is a current assets, inventory. Any assets which is going to be used in the business activities for many years, not for sale purpose, that is not my business. I will be conducting my business activities by doing those, by using those assets. Those assets are called non-current assets. They are not current. They are not current means they are not going to give me cash flow money recently. It will take time. It will take time to give me money from computer, from camera, from property. I'm not going to get money in 1 or 2 years. Time lagega. They are called non-current. Current nahi hai to non-current. They are called non-current assets. Those non-current assets we will be recognizing in the books. Recognizing means what? We will be recording in the books. Books means what? PL account, balance sheet, statement of changes in equity, cash flow, blah, blah, blah. You will say how they will come in PL account, balance sheet, through journal, through ledger. Bolega journal ledger, I will come. Don't worry. Journal ledger I can explain in 5 to 10 minutes because I don't think that accounting is journal ledger. For the time being, forget about journal ledger. We have discussed PL account format, balance sheet format, and statement of changes in equity format. In the balance sheet asset side, first item, non-current assets. Under non-current assets, first item, property, plant, and equipment. So you will be recognizing, you will be recording in the balance sheet, non-current assets, property, plant, and equipment, a particular value. What will be that value? When you will recognize, when you will record in the balance sheet a non-current assets, when you will recognize, that we are discussing. When you will recognize the non-current assets in the balance sheet, when you will recognize, when you will recognize non-current assets in the balance sheet, when you will pay consideration, when you will pay I will say that this computer belongs to Saraf Academy. This laptop belongs to Saraf Academy. This property belongs to Saraf Academy. I am giving my example to make it clear very fast. I can take example of any student wherever you are working, but आप उसको सोचते रहिए. You start thinking in your mind. Understanding will be very fast and understanding will be very crystal clear. So I am taking my example just for crystal clarity, no other purpose. I will be saying this computer belongs to Saraf Academy. I will be getting an invoice in the name of Saraf Academy. Suppose I purchase this computer today from XYZ company. So the XYZ company invoice in the name of Saraf Academy, the address, the GST number will be written, date is written. It is said a computer with this many features, RAM, TAM and all that. And the value of the computer 1 lakh plus GST 18%. So the value is 1,18,000. Maybe it's a credit purchase. I will pay to the supplier, say after 1 month. Or maybe it's a cash purchase. I have paid now only. But when I'm getting an invoice, when I'm getting a delivery of the computer, then in that case, I will say this is an asset belongs to Saraf Academy. When it is supported by documents, when it is supported by an invoice, by a delivery challan, by a delivery voucher, everything is there, then I will be saying that the non-current asset belongs to Saraf Academy. Now, whether I will be using the computer in the class today or I will use after 5 days, that's my lookout. When I will be using the asset in the business, that's my lookout. But when I've received the computer, I can use it from today only. It is usable from today. When the asset belongs to the organization and it is usable, then in that case, we need to recognize the assets in the books. We have to record the asset in the books. What value? Obviously, the invoice value or kya? Whatever is the invoice value that I need to record in the books, computer value. Assets, non-current assets, computer value 1,18,000. Like this, every organization in the world, not Saraf Academy, are purchasing, are constructing, are developing so many non-current assets during the year because the accounts is prepared in a year. Year gap. Year-wise, we prepare books of accounts. So whatever purchase of assets we will be doing during a year or whatever assets we will construct during a year, we will be recording those assets in the balance sheet asset side under non-current assets. We will be recording those assets in the balance sheet asset side under non-current asset. Based on the documents, based on I come to know that this is the cost of the asset. Suppose to bring the computer I paid carriage inward, 500 rupees. The cost of the computer will be including carriage inward. All the expenditure incurred till the time the asset is ready for use. all those expenditures will be treated as the cost of the asset. You will recognize any asset, whether you purchase or whether you will self-develop. I'm constructing a tuition center, not purchasing. I have taken a land and then I have employed laborers. I am purchasing cement and all that, and I am constructing tuition center. So my construction cost will be the cost of the asset. Or if I am purchasing any asset, the purchase cost will be the cost of the asset. Till the time the asset is not usable, all the expenditures incurred to bring the asset in usable condition are treated as cost of the asset. And every asset in any organization need to be recognized at cost. When initially you will recognize the asset, you will recognize the asset at cost. If you don't have proof, if you don't have details that what is the cost of the asset, you can't recognize an asset in the books, because at what value you will write. Simple example, simple. Suppose these are the notes prepared by me. Some taken from Kaplan, some by write-up by me and all that. These are the notes prepared by me. Obviously, it took time to prepare these notes. Whatever may be research done and all that, it took time. The designing of the notes done by my staff and all that, there is some time. But can I exactly say that what is exact cost I have incurred to develop these notes? I can't say. Because you will say that, sir, suppose I have given my, say, 100 hours time to develop these notes. So what is the cost of 1 hour of Prakash Saraf in Saraf Academy? I too don't know. You will say that, sir, suppose you are getting salary from Saraf Academy 2 lakh per month. Suppose. In a day, I am working, say, 10 hours. So in a month, it is 25, 26 days working, 250, 60 hours. 2 lakh divided by 250, 60 will be giving you per hour. So multiplied by 100 hours will be the cost of material. That way we cannot allocate cost. That's not the proper way. Because when the cost is identifiable for a particular asset, then only you can recognize an asset in the books. Normally for all the tangible asset, computer, laptop, camera, furniture, property, plant, सबका cost मालूम होता है. Either you have purchased it or you have developed it. The problem arises with intangible assets. Even when I am saying the notes is not a tangible assets. Something in a CD, in a pen drive, something on a paper is intangible assets. We have a separate IAS on intangible assets, IAS 38. We will not discuss today. We will discuss in the next class. But that intangible asset, if I cannot determine what is the cost, if I don't know the exact cost, I can't record it. For any asset to be recognized in the books of account, the cost should be identified. Now, cost doesn't mean that whatever you will pay in cash. Suppose for purchasing computer, I'm coming. I know that some of the CA student will start saying GST आएगा क्या? आ रहा हूं, sir. Wait for some time. I mean to say that, suppose I am purchasing this computer from Mr. Sahaj only. And I said to Sahaj, in place of paying you cash, you take training classes from me. You don't need to pay for training classes. You give me computer, you are selling computer, I will be purchasing computer from you. And in place of giving cash, you will be taking training classes from me. Suppose I am charging for training classes from others 20,000. So when I am taking this computer from Sahaj and I am telling him you take training classes from me and I am not paying you, that means when I am charging from others 20,000, that 20,000 is actually the value of the computer. You can say this is barter system. Normally barter system is not legal, but say for the time being barter system. So I'm not saying that the cost should be identified means you need to pay in cash only. You can pay in kind also. Whatever thing you are giving to Sahaj, I am giving to Sahaj, the value of that thing will be treated as the cost of the asset. So if I'm purchasing computer and giving training classes to Sahaj, and I'm charging from others 20,000. So for Sahaj also, I will say that it is 20,000. So the value of the computer will be recorded in the books 20,000, which is the cost of the computer, which is the cost of the computer. I mean to say that it is not that the cost need to be paid in cash only. The cost may be non-cash. It is in other form you have given. But whatever consideration you have given logically, that you should be knowing, and then only the assets can be recognized in the books. Finance cost will also be added, but there are conditions. For finance cost, there is a separate IAS 23, borrowing cost. We will discuss there after. अभी बोलना मुश्किल होएगा. As I said, Soman, Sahaj, don't panic. I will say everything, but मेरे को धीरे धीरे बोलना होगा, because maybe some of them are having knowledge of GST and taxes matter very well. Some of the students don't have that knowledge. सबको बराबर लेके चलना है ना. I will discuss, don't worry. Whatever in your mind, you can chat. If you can, I mean to say, keep calm, then I will discuss everything. And when I will ask, is there any doubt? Nobody will have any doubt. I have not asked up till now, is there any doubt? Because I have not finished. I am yet to finish. So let me finish, everything will be clear, sir. I said that the value of these notes, 100 hour I have given, but I cannot calculate 100 hour cost. You will say salary divided by this hour into 100 hour this way. That is called allocation and absorption. Allocation and absorption is not treated as cost of the asset. Allocation and absorption is not treated as a direct identifiable cost of the asset. हम लोग उसको identified cost नहीं मानते. That cannot be treated as cost of the asset. So if you have those types of details, they are not treated. They are called indirect cost. Because I don't have detail that exactly I have involved 100 hour. Maybe I have involved 100 hour, 80 hour, 110 hour. Maybe the salary include basic salary, dearness allowance, boom, bam. There are so many things. Allocation, apportionment and all that are not treated as identified cost. Because in every organization, there is an office, administration job, administration overhead, administration. You start telling that administration cost this much for this job, this much for this client. You can do. That is for your internal purpose. But in the books of accounts, that type of thing, IAS 16 is not allowing. If you can say exactly, this is my cost for this asset, this is identified, you have proof, facts, then that can be treated as the cost. Otherwise, that is not treated as the cost. And all those costs which is identified and which is incurred before the asset is ready for use, to make it ready for use, whatever expenditure we incur, all are treated as cost of the asset. And initial recognition of an asset is at cost. So if you don't know the cost, you can't recognize. If you know the cost of any asset, then only you can recognize in the books of accounts. The criteria is cost you should be knowing. With a documentary, with an invoice, with whatever you say, you have proof, facts. When we do auditing, so what we do in auditing? In auditing, the PL account, balance sheet and other things are given to us. We are checking, we are verifying that the assets given in the balance sheet are actually belong to the organization or not. We see the invoices, we see the delivery challan, we see the payment made to the supplier and other things. This is called auditing. Accounts and auditing are correlated. In the accounts, you are preparing accounts, you are analyzing performance of the company. But when you do auditing, whatever in the accounts, whether they are correct, then you do vouching, then you do verification, then you do checking and internal control and other things you do. That is called auditing. Lekin, if we are saying we are preparing financial statement, then if the financial statements are not prepared ethically, that means the asset does not belong to the organization, bogus invoice, bogus challan, cost is not correct, they are not recording properly, that means their financial statements are not giving true and fair view. The financial statements are wrongly prepared, and the auditor who is certifying the financial statement, they will be penalized, they will be charged. So even every auditor in the world need to know the accounting crystal clear from top to bottom. So accounting knowledge need to be there by every auditor. Suppose you are a financial analyst, not an auditor. You analyze the financial statement, you give advice whether an investor should invest, whether banks should be giving loan. You need to have very sound understanding of accounting, which I said in the previous class also. Somebody said that even nobody need to say what is the purpose of accounting. If you are helping any organization in private equity, mergers, acquisitions, valuations, how you will do that if you don't know accounting? Very detailed, very crisp understanding of accounting. You can't do that job. If you want to work in accounting, business and finance domain, you have to have sound understanding of entire accounting concepts. So forget about SEMA, forget about ACCA, forget about the IFRS or anything. Forget about exam. The class and the subject we are studying not for giving the exam and passing the exam. We are taking the classes, we are studying the concept so that we will have detailed, crystal clear accounting knowledge. हम उसके लिए पढ़ रहे हैं, हम कोई एग्जाम के लिए नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं. एग्जाम बेस्ड स्टडी करने का कोई फायदा नहीं. Exam is a byproduct. If you know the concepts why you will fail in the exam, automatically you will pass. And the classes are not running for SEMA, not for IFRS, not for SBR, for everyone. Everybody need to study the same thing. And if you don't study regularly, as I said in the last class, after 3-4 classes, you will run. The question of giving exam and all that doesn't arise. So many examples which I am giving, I have not thought that in the class I will be giving this example. With the feeling with the flow I am going. They cannot be written anywhere. If suppose this is not an online class, this is a physical class. I have given physical classes for more than 15 years, till 2014. And in a classroom, 150-200 students. Okay? I was explaining the concept like this only. There is nothing you can write. There is nothing to write. Whatever I am giving the examples, they are spur of the moment. Whatever feeling is coming, I am giving examples. So it's not that you are online, for that reason you cannot write. Even though you were there in the classroom, then also there is nothing to write. These are all examples. To understand this one paragraph, to understand the different write-up which is there in the books. So if you don't do the recording, you don't able to understand. After the recording, if you are not doing the same thing which I am doing in the class, you don't understand. For one class, your self-study is 5 to 6 hours. If I am teaching for 3 hours, your self-study is around 5 hours. 2 hours recording, 2 hours doing the same thing, extra questions on that same thing. आपको लगेगा सर अभी आपने cost, I will be doing. Just give me 1 or 2 classes, you will understand. So if you don't follow me, if you don't run with me, then in that case, it's impossible to understand the concepts. The whole purpose of studying accounts will be destroyed. Okay? So what I'm saying that the initial cost will be recorded, recognized in the books. अभी मेरे को आपको दिखाना पड़ेगा तेजाश्री. तेजाश्री, आपका ईमेल आईडी यही है क्या? तेजाश्री बॉड की, दिस वन. ठीक है तेजाश्री जी. तेजाश्री जी, मैंने जब लास्ट क्लास ली तो मैंने लास्ट क्लास के बाद आप सभी को मेल किया. देखिए आप ही का मेल है, मैंने घर से नहीं किया है. डीप IFRS क्लास स्लाइड स्टिल फर्स्ट क्लास, ये मेल आपके पास गया. ये मेल जो गया इसमें मैंने सब कोई को व्हाट आई शुड से नोट्स मैंने फिर से गूगल ड्राइव लिंक दे दिया और इसी मेल में आप नीचे आ जाइए। मैंने ये जो वर्ड फाइल है, ये रहा वर्ड फाइल, लाइफ शेड्यूल ACCA SBR, ये वर्ड फाइल मैंने आप लोग सबको मेल किया है। और मैंने प्रीवियस क्लास में आई सेड कि आफ्टर द क्लास, आफ्टर एवरी क्लास आई विल बी शेयरिंग द फाइल, because after every class I am writing something in the class. So I will be writing in the next class, after the today's class slides up till second class. So ये जो second वाला फाइल है, ये वही है, ये वही फाइल है जो मैं अभी क्लास में यूज कर रहा हूं। अब आप बोल दीजिए चेजाश्री मेरे को कैसे ये मेल करना है, आपको देना कैसे है, हाउ आई विल बी एबल टू गिव यू। It was not opening. Then you can mail, as I said in the previous class, for any technical query. Notes are not opening, videos are not running, videos are not there, notes are not there, any technical, you mail, you will get a reply. Mail कर दीजिएगा, फिर दे देंगे यार। और when I will be giving today, then again I will be writing up till second class, तो first second दोनों ही खुल जाएगा। You will be able to get every class after the class, हर क्लास के बाद, because कुछ ना कुछ तो मैं लिखूंगा ही ना, ठीक है। पहले आपने बोला कि मेरे को मिला नहीं, अभी मैंने मिला तो आपने बोला खुला नहीं। सर दो अलग अलग बात है, समझिए। मेरे पास सबका सब प्रूफ है सर, और किसी के साथ कोई पार्शियलिटी नहीं है। हम लोग तो एक्सेल सीट में जाते हैं, सबका मेल कॉपी करते हैं, मेल करते हैं और सबके पास जाता है। अगर किसी के पास मेल डिलीवरी नहीं हुआ, देन इट विल बी कमिंग टू अस, द मेल इज नॉट डिलीवर्ड, देन वी इन्फॉर्म द स्टूडेंट योर मेल आर नॉट गेटिंग डिलीवर्ड, चेक योर मेल, मे बी इट इज स्पैम, मे बी फुल्ली फिल्ड अप। नहीं आया तो पता है मेल चला गया, सभी का है सर। और तेजश्री कोई इंग्लिश हिंदी नहीं चल रहा है, मैंने लास्ट क्लास में बोला, इट्स नॉट अ लैंग्वेज क्लास। इफ आई एम रीडिंग दिस, मैं इसको हिंदी कैसे बनाऊं? somebody says Hindi, somebody says English, I am puzzled. I cannot change my style. I can just guarantee this, whatever language I am saying, everybody will be able to understand, believe me, because I am saying same thing 10 times, Hindi English and all that. So it's not a language class. If you focus, then there is no problem. I will say that suppose in a computer there will be basic word, what we say, because in my computer only I rectified yesterday the MS Office. So the basic MS Office and all that are not having a separate charge. But if suppose there is a separate program, software whose charges are 1 lakh, 2 lakh, then it is separate from the computer. The value of the computer is different and the value of the software will be different. That software will be treated as an intangible asset, because anything which is in a hard disk, in a pen drive, on a paper, they are called intangible assets. They are not called tangible assets. So if something like that, then they will be recorded as a separate asset. But they are not IAS 16. They will become IAS 38. What I was telling that, once we have initially recognized an asset, and we are going to use the asset in the business for many years, like this computer, laptop and everything. I will be using, I am already using, I will be using for many years. But it is not that computer, laptop, camera I can use for whole life, infinity, nothing like that. There is a certain period for which I can use the asset. That certain period cannot be determined with surety. The computer manufacturer has said that the computer can be used for 5 years. But if I'm keeping my computer very well, cleaning it and all that proper, maybe I can use for 6, 7 years. Maybe the computer manufacturer is saying that I can use computer for 5 years, but I'm able to use only for 3 years. It's a person to person. The way you will keep your assets, that way will decide that how many years you will be able to use. And at the end of the life, there will be some salvage value, maybe 1,000, 2,000, whatever. Nobody can forecast that salvage value with surety. But we can say that, suppose the cost of the computer is 1 lakh. And suppose Prakash Saraf is assuming that I will be able to use the computer for 5 years. And suppose I am assuming that, I am forecasting that, I am estimating that at the end of 5 years, I will be able to sell the computer for 5,000. The realizable value, the salvage value of computer at the end of the life will be 5,000. So we say that the depreciable amount is 95,000. 1 lakh is the cost. 5,000 is the estimated salvage value. The life is 5 years. So 1 lakh minus 5,000, 95,000 is depreciable amount. And that depreciable amount need to be recorded as an expense in 5 years. In the name of depreciation expense. Whether I will be doing depreciation by straight line method, by reducing balance method, by sum of years digit method, blah, blah, blah. I can use any method. Nobody can charge me. Neither US GAAP, neither IAS 16, neither Indian accounting, any accounting does not say that what will be the method of depreciation. That's your decision. Nobody can charge you. Nobody can say you that why you are following this method. If it is 1 lakh is the cost, 5,000 is the salvage value, 95,000 is the depreciable amount in any method. Whether it's a straight line SLM, whether it's reducing balance method, whether any method, 95,000 is the total depreciation will be done in 5 years by any method. If it is a straight line, every year depreciation will be same. 95,000 divided by 5. If it is reducing balance method, first year depreciation will be high. Second year will be lower than the first year. Third year will be lower than the second year. Fourth year will be lower than the third year and so on. But objective is what? To charge 95,000 in 5 years. To consider expense 95,000 in 5 years. Because depreciable amount is 95,000. Suppose I will say that under reducing balance method, depreciation rate is 30%. So first year we will say 1 lakh into 30%, 30,000. You will say, sir, 95,000, na? It will automatically be 95,000. But in reducing balance method, the rate is applied on cost. 1 lakh into 30%, 30,000. The second year depreciation, 1 lakh minus 30,000. That is 70,000 into 30%, 21,000. So 2 year depreciation, 30 plus 21, 51,000. Third year, 1 lakh minus 51, 49,000 into 30%. Automatically, the rate 30% will be calculated in such a way that every year when I will do depreciation in reducing way, the total depreciation in 5 years will be coming 95,000. Do we need to calculate rate in the exam? No. How the rate are calculated? Yes, sir.
Rate will be based on the Companies Act of the respective countries, right?
If you say that you are preparing accounts based on Companies Act, because suppose I am preparing account for Prakash Saraf. For Prakash Saraf, there is no Companies Act, sir, because it's an entrepreneur, individual. For partnership, there is no Companies Act. And there are so many one-man company, limited liability companies are there. So they are, how much they need to follow the company's accounts and all that is a big, big question mark. So we are saying that, suppose we are not talking only about ITC, Reliance and all that, small organizations also, the rate you will decide. But this rate 30% can be calculated by arithmetic and geometric progression. Now we are not studying APGP here. We are not mathematician. Even I cannot teach because मेरे को भी इतना ध्यान नहीं है. लेकिन मेरे को पता है कि 30% कैसे निकालती है, मैं उसमें जा नहीं रहा. Because in accounting exam 30% will be given. But the purpose of 30% is what? The total depreciation in 5 years 95,000. Straight line method 95,000. Sum of years digit method. The asset will be used in 5 years. So 5:4:3:2:1. Years in reverse order. 5:4:3:2:1. The total depreciable amount is 95,000. will be divided in all the 5 years in the ratio of 5:4:3:2:1. So if you take 5 divided by total is 15, 5 by 15 into 95,000 first year, 4 by 15 into 95,000 second year, 3 by 15 into 95,000 third year. In all the methods, whichever method you have heard in your life, in all the methods, the depreciation amount will be different in different years. But the total depreciation in 5 years will be 95,000. If I am preparing accounts for Saraf Academy, the legal entity is Saraf Gurukul Private Limited, but the brand name we are using Saraf Academy. We are preparing accounts based on Schedule 6 as per the Companies Act. उतना अंदर मत जाना, मे भी Schedule 6 के अलावा कुछ और होगा, I don't remember, because I am not a regulatory person. My auditor, my accountant are charging depreciation as per the Companies Act. But every accounts is not necessarily to be prepared by Companies Act. So for that reason, whether it's a Companies Act or anything, whether the rate is straight line, WDV, whatever, we are saying it cannot be greater than the depreciable amount. The depreciation method can be different, but it will be the total depreciable amount. It cannot be greater than the depreciable amount. Ajay ji is saying that if a property is constructed for capital appreciation, but till the time it is sold, it is rented out, and such renting is not his business, shall be covered in IAS 16, IAS 40, sir, I said. But IAS 40 I have not explained in detail. I gave in the beginning only example ki in Saraf Academy I have surplus money, and the surplus money I have invested in a property. That property I have let out, or that property I am keeping for capital appreciation. Since the asset is not used in the business activity, that is not IAS 16 property, plant and equipment for Saraf Academy. You will say, then why it is written for rental? This for rental is written for construction company. Those who are engaged in construction of property and then letting it out. For them, construction of property and then letting it out, that property is property, plant, equipment. But for Saraf Academy, it is not property, plant and equipment. For investment property, how the accounting will be done, we will discuss later. Otherwise, it will become hodgepodge. क्या बाबू अजय जी समझ में आ रही बात? Actually, आप लोग क्वेश्चन सही उठाते हैं, but क्या है कि if we will be start discussing like this, then there is no direction in the class. Then it will be very difficult for anybody to understand the class. So even though I know, but मेरे को आप लोग को रोकना पड़ता है. Sorry for this. Because if I will start saying 40, 20, 23 finance cost, सब एक साथ, then we will not be going with the syllabus. We will not be able to understand the concept crystal clear. इसीलिए मेरे को जानबूझ के बोलना पड़ता है, wait. Sorry. But that is the way we can study. Otherwise, everything will become once. Then we will not be able to understand anything. Sorry, bhai. So what I am saying that whether it's a company law, whether it is not, whatever methods are there, any method, anything, the depreciable amount will be depreciated during the life of the asset. And the depreciable amount will be the cost minus estimated salvage value. Now, suppose in the current year, I estimated that the life of the asset will be 5 years. I estimated that the salvage value will be 5,000. And I charge depreciation as an expense in the current year based on any method. But after 1 or 2 years, I am changing my estimate. After 1 or 2 years, I am assuming that the salvage value will be different. I am estimating, I am revising my estimate that the life will not be 5 years, it will be 6, 7 years. It will be 2 years only. I can change. Because whatever you are forecasting today based on current scenario, current situation, and after some time you are changing your forecast. It's not that you are a bad person. It's not that you are doing anything wrong. Because something which you are forecasting, there can be error in forecasting. Error means not intentional error, unintentional error. So when there will be new forecast after 1 or 2 years, there is a change in the salvage value. There is a change in the life of asset. there is a change in the useful life, you will be charging depreciation expense at that time based on the revised estimate. Based on the revised estimate, the depreciation expense, the depreciable amount will change for future period. No problem. It is not said in accounts anything wrong done by anybody. Earlier, you had a different projection, different feeling. Now feeling change because of the changes in the market, environment, product. बहुत कुछ हो सकता है यार. You cannot become God. So when there is a change in the estimate relating to change in the method, rate, life, salvage value, all these will be accounted for when we are changing our estimate at that time, in that year, in that period. We will be recording the depreciation expense based on the revised estimate. But we are bound to record depreciation every year as an expense. Suppose I will say that I'm keeping my computer in a very, very fantastic way. I'm cleaning it. After every class, I'm giving a kiss to my computer. This, that, wow. Suppose आप कोई नया मोबाइल खरीदते हो, क्या करते हो? इतना प्यार से रखते हो. You keep the mobile with such a caution. But after 5-7 days, normal happen. But if you keep, suppose I'm just giving an example, I always give. This is a audio, I'm using audio machine. It's an audio machine for Sennheiser. Okay. Normally, this audio machine is around 25,000 rupees. The voice quality is better. I have seen that my brother, so many teachers are destroying this machine within 1 year. But I'm always use this machine for at least more than 5 years. That means the teachers are destroying this with rough use in 1 year, but I'm using this for 5 years. You can say that suppose I'm using the audio in the classroom and all that since last 14 to 15 years. So मैंने ये तीसरा खरीदा है. This is the third one in 15 years. उसके पहले तो क्लास में we teach by shouting in the class, है ना? Before 2010-9 ये सब की बात करें तो. After that, when we started using audio, this is the third machine I purchased. दोनों मशीन मैंने बहुत चलाया है. I mean to say that it's your way of nature how you are using the asset. But you will say that I will not charge a depreciation in this year because this is very well. Not allowed. There is a term called normal wear and tear. Even though you are using the asset very diligently, you are keeping it very fantastic manner, still depreciation has to be done. No logic for this that there is no depreciation in the asset because it is kept very well. Not allowed. The normal wear and tear and there are there, and you have to charge a depreciation. Maybe you are changing your estimate. Life will be more, so revised estimate, so revised depreciation amount is lower. Okay, chalega. But you can't give this logic that I will not charge a depreciation during the year because the asset is kept very well. Ye sab nahi allowed. Now comes, suppose this computer I purchased today for 1 lakh. The depreciable amount is 95,000. I recorded depreciation for 2 years. Say straight line method. 95,000 divided by 5. So it is 19,000 for 1 year, 19,000 for second year. So we say that the assets computer value is 1 lakh minus 19,000 minus 19,000. The balance value of computer after 2 year depreciation is 1 lakh minus 38, 38,000 gone. 1 lakh minus 38, it is called 62,000. I will say that for the time being, don't think that it is a leased asset or it is an ownership asset. Whether it's a leased asset or whether it's your ownership asset, in both the cases, it is an asset. And not only leased asset, in any type of asset, you can change your method of depreciation. You can change your estimate. You can change your estimate relating to life. You can change your method. Nobody can charge you. So it's not a question of leased asset, any type of asset, sir. Now again, there is a separate IFRS 16, leasing. There we will discuss leased asset also. But for the time being, for your question, whether this computer is on lease or whether this computer is outrightly purchased, In both the cases, I can do whatever I want. The change in the method, the change in the life, the change in the estimate, I can do. Because I'm doing the change not intentionally, unintentionally. Earlier, my forecast was different. Now my forecast is different. It's not that anything wrong I am doing. So it's not a question of vehicle or anything. Any type of asset, outright purchase, leased asset, you can change the method, rate, estimation, everything. But relating to leased asset, we will have a detailed discussion in IFRS 16. I think approximately after 3 classes. ठीक है, 3 क्लास के बाद. सॉरी, मेरे को बार बार ये सब बोलना पड़ता है, बिकॉज नहीं तो फिर लीजिंग बोलना पड़ेगा, फिर somebody will say IAS 38 बोलना पड़ेगा, फिर somebody will say revenue बोलना पड़ेगा, फिर somebody will say inventory. तो हम लोग we will not be able to understand anything in the class, because if I will start teaching all the different concepts, IFRS, IAS in one go, we will not be able to understand. That can be taught to anybody when somebody knows everything fully. That I don't need to explain him what is IAS 16, what is property plant. उसको पूरा, suppose मेरे को सब कुछ मालूम है, वैसे ही there is a student who knows everything about all IAS, IFRS. Then we can discuss in 2 to 3 hours any type of question from anywhere. Then there is no problem. Because then in that case, the student don't need to explain the basics. Otherwise, it's difficult. Because without knowing the basics, without going through the basement, you can't reach to the top floor. Sorry. So what I was saying, that the assets value is 1 lakh and the 2-year depreciation is 38,000. So the balance value of assets is 1 lakh minus 38,000, 62,000. In technical language, in accounting, this is called carrying value. Carrying amount. Carrying amount means cost of the asset minus accumulated depreciation. Accumulated means if only 1 year is over, 1 year depreciation is accumulated depreciation. Accumulate means cumulate. If 2 years are over, then both the year depreciation is called accumulated depreciation. If 3 years gone, all the 3-year total depreciation is called accumulated depreciation. So carrying value of the asset is called cost minus accumulated depreciation. 1 lakh is the cost 2 years back in my example, and 38,000 is the accumulated depreciation. So the carrying value after 2 years, at the end of 2 years, is 62,000. Carrying value of the asset is 62,000. Now the problem comes, a very big problem which accounting body realized. After 2 years, market had changed. After 2 years, the quality of computer, the RAM and all that in the computer laptop had changed. So after 2 years, I am saying that in my books, the computer value is 62,000. 1 lakh minus 3862. But when I see this type of computer in the market, this is 2 years old. The new computer are very sophisticated, having better RAM, better features. तो इस तरह का कंप्यूटर का मार्केट में दाम बहुत गिर गया. There is a huge decrease in the price in the market for this type of computer which I have, which I purchased 2 years back. I purchased this computer 2 years back for 1 lakh. But if this type of capacity and all that computer is purchased now after 2 years, then it is available in the market at 60,000 only. And that too also the new one. This is the old one, 2 years already used. And the new one of the same feature is available in the market at 60,000. So if you deduct from 60,000 the depreciation of 2 years to make it comparable with this, then it will be coming 30,000 only. We are saying that, is it logical to show in the balance sheet computer value 62,000, whereas the value in the market is only 35,000? The same type of feature of asset which you have, after considering the depreciation, the value is coming in the market 35,000. So whether it is logical to show computer value assets in the book 62, whereas the value in the market is only 35. Another example, the property. The property I purchased earlier. I have charged depreciation on the property. Suppose I purchase this property for 1 crore. And I have already charged depreciation in say 10-15 years, 30 lakh. So the value of the property is 70 lakh carrying value. But the market value of this property is say 5 crore. And if I will deduct depreciation of 10-15 years, then also the value will be coming 4 crore. So I am showing property value 70 lakh. But the property value in the market is 4 crore. I am showing computer value in the balance sheet, assets value 62,000. But the value of that asset in the market is 35,000 only. So if anybody will look at the balance sheet of the company, anybody, the problem is that by looking at the balance sheet, by looking at the assets value in the balance sheet, they will not be able to take correct and informed decisions, because the assets value in the books is not the current market value, is not the fair value. It is the old historical value, historical cost minus accumulated depreciation. It is that value. But the fair value in the market is very different. So based on the wrong value in the balance sheet, you are analyzing the financial strength of the company wrongly. Now the problem is that if I want to show the current fair value, the question is that how I will say that the fair value of this computer is 35,000? Because for same type of asset in the market, there are different prices. Wholesale, retail, this supplier, this, that, this company. So many things are there. Even the property. Some property is on road, somebody property is in gully, some property is 20-year-old, some property 50-year. There are so many ifs and buts. So calculating fair value is a very subjective task. There is nobody in the world who can say you with guarantee that the value of this computer is this, the value of this property is this. Koi nahi hai duniya mein. But in the market, in all over the world, there are certified valuer. Those certified valuer have taken education, have understood the quality, the nature of those assets, have studied. They have been given certificate by the government to certify the value of a particular assets. Suppose for gold, silver, there is a jewelry valuer. For property, there is property valuer and all that. Now you don't ask me that, sir, aisa license, sir, market mein hai. Every country have different rules. But if we are valuing the asset from those valuer and they are giving you certificate that this is the value of your asset, then accounting body said that in place of recording 62,000, you can record 35,000 in the books. In place of recording 70 lakh for the property, you can record 4 crore in the books. So for one of the asset, you can record a lower value. For another asset, you can record a higher value. Lower, higher value depends upon the fair value certified by the certified valuer, not by you and me. Even though suppose I can value a property, but if the government has not given me license to certify the value of any asset, I cannot do the valuation. In India also, the valuation certificate, you need to give exams, you need to pass those exams, and then you are given the license by the government as a certified valuer. And then you can value the organization, value the property, value the different kind of assets. You will be able to give a certificate. When that certificate is obtained from a certified valuer, then accounting body said that we can record the certified value in the books. It is not a compulsion. The accounting body saying that it is not a compulsion. You can record 62,000, you can record 70 lakh, no problem. But if you want to record in place of 70 lakh 4 crore, If you want to record in place of 62,000, 35,000, then you need to do valuation by a certified valuer, and whatever certificate value will be there, that you can record in the books. It is allowed. It is not a compulsion. The accounting body is saying that IAS 16, IASB said that initially the asset will be recognized at cost, but subsequently the organization can follow cost model or they can follow revaluation model. The organization can follow cost model or they can follow revaluation model. Revaluation means fair value of an asset in the market. Fair value of an asset will be determined by the certified valuer. When the certified valuer will give you the certificate, that value you can record in the books if you want. No compulsion. Somebody will say that why I will want that? If somebody is looking at the Saraf Academy balance sheet and they are looking at the property value 70 lakh, whereas the property value is 4 crore, to deal with them, to do any business relationship, I need to tell them the correct value of the property. Otherwise, they will not be interested in dealing with me. Suppose I want to take loan from bank for 5 crore. By looking at the 70 lakh value of the property, nobody is interested. Nobody is interested. But if I will say that my property value is 5 crore, they are interested in giving me loan. It's just an example. I mean to say that we are saying the financial statement of the company provide true and fair view. When the assets are not at the fair value, how can they give true and fair view? How can? कोई भी investor है, any financiers है, any supplier है, how they will be able to take a call without knowing the fair value of the assets? How? Accounting body said that it is optional. Somebody will say why? Suppose I am going for loan from ICICI Bank. I will be telling to ICICI Bank, you do the fair valuation of my assets. I have not done. You do. And then you decide whether you will give me loan or not. I am not interested in doing fair valuation of my asset, because if I will ask somebody, a certified valuer, to do the fair valuation, they will charge fees. And that fees is not 1 or 2 rupees. It depends upon value of the asset, 1%, 0.5% of the asset value. I am not interested in free expending my money. I know that the property value 4 crore. Nobody need to say me. I know this. If ICICI Bank want to give me loan, they need to do the fair valuation of my assets. They are interested in giving me loan. They need to do the fair valuation of all my assets. I don't need to do. So a small organization in the world are never doing fair valuation on their own. They are never doing. The bigger organization, maybe Reliance, ITC, or any company, or maybe small company also. Why I will not say they will not do? Their mergy option. They can do the fair valuation. The fair valuation will be done by a certified valuer. When the certified valuer will give the certificate, then that fair value can be recognized in the books. There are 3-4 things here. When I am doing the fair valuation of any particular asset class, suppose computer. In my organization, computer, laptop are around 20-25 machines. In my office, in my studio, sab milakar. I cannot do the fair valuation of only one computer or laptop. Not allowed. All computer, laptop. Because the asset class is what? Computer, laptop. I cannot do the fair valuation of only this property. The tuition center property, this property, all property need to be fair valued. We can't do the fair valuation of one single asset. We need to do the fair valuation of all the assets in that class. If I'm doing fair valuation of computer, laptop, property is different. Property is not in the same class. Same class of assets. All need to be fair valued. And the fair valuation will be done by a certified valuer, not by you and me. He will give the certificate, then we can record. I discussed in the last class that if it is a case of computer, 62,000 to 35,000, there is decrease in the value. And if it is a case of property, 70 lakh to 4 crore, increase in the value. Both are notional. There is no loss or gain in monetary term. The assets value gone down. If I will sell, I will get less, but I'm not selling now. I'm using my computer very well. The assets value has gone up. I'm not selling my property where I will do the tuition. Both the assets I'm not selling, but in one of the asset I'm suffering loss and in another asset I'm gaining. Both are notional. The accounting body is saying that if it is a loss, 62 to 35, 27,000 will be recorded in profit and loss account, loss on revaluation, loss on fair valuation. But if it is again 70 lakh to 4 crore, it will be recorded under other comprehensive income. It will be recorded under other comprehensive income. The income, you can say we follow conservative principle. The income, we are not saying the part of realized gain or loss. The income we are saying is a part of non-realized gain or loss. Non-realized gain. But the loss we are saying is a part of realized loss. The loss we are saying we have suffered the loss and the profit of the company will be reduced. This is the PL account format. In the PL account, you will be recording loss on computer fair valuation. 62 to 35, 27,000, where there is no heading here. In my case, the computer is used in doing the training classes, this computer. So the loss of the computer is a part of cost of sale. Loss in the fair value of computer is a part of cost of sale. As I just now said in the beginning of the class, that cost of sale is 10, 15 items. So many things. One of the item is loss on fair valuation of computer. Then I am getting the total cost of sale. But the property value 70 lakh to 4 crore, 3 crore, 30 lakh. The property value will be coming here. The property value will be coming here under other comprehensive income. There is items that will not be reclassified to PL in future. Under that, changes in revaluation. Revaluation gain on property value 3 crore 30 lakh. Items that cannot be reclassified to PL means what? Is equity holding treated as a property or is it an investment for a company? Again, it is outside the discussion. We have not discussed investment in shares, debentures, government securities, bonds, gold, silver, anything. Even we have not discussed investment in property also. Because investment in property, I said IAS 40. So I have not discussed investment in shares, debenture, bonds, government securities and anything. They will be discussed around after 2 months. In the beginning of May, around 5th or 10th of May. Financial instruments. Financial instruments means investments in equity, debenture, bonds, government securities. They are financial asset. Maybe they are non-current asset. Maybe they are current assets. That's the secondary thing. But we will discuss later. So we are not discussing that investment in equity and all that. No, not thought came. I don't want to say anything. Let's proceed. So I mean to say that for focus here, when I'm saying items that will not be reclassified, suppose this property, which is 70 lakh and valued for 4 crore, 70 lakh and valued for 4 crore. So 3 crore 30 lakh, I'm recording here under other comprehensive. Suppose this property I am selling after 2 years. Suppose I'm not selling, but just for example, then I will be selling the property for 4 crore only. Why I will sell at 70 lakh? So this 3 crore 30 lakh will become realized gain. I will receive money. Then also this 3.3 crore cannot be transferred above. This 3.3 crore cannot become profit or loss for the period. It will never become. It will always be an item which cannot be reclassified to PL. There are some items under other comprehensive income which can be reclassified to PL. Items may be reclassified, cash flow. That means sometime they are coming under other comprehensive. Later on, they will be becoming part of profit for the period. But this is an item which will never become profit for the period, even though you sell this property. You will say, sir, what are these items? It is very early to say about all these items. This we will be able to cover gradually in 2 months, not now. As I just now said, Adnan, Aftab, conservative principle. The accounts is prepared since ancient age, conservative principle. Conservative says that if there are losses, record it. But if they are gain, hold. Let the gain realize. So the accounting body is always conservative in their approach. There is an accounting concept called conservative principle. So when the loss is there, we are saying that we have suffered the loss. Record it. Profit or loss for the period will become lower. But when the gain is there, let the gain realize. That income which is realized will, the income 3.3 crore will not become income twice. Som Subro, when you are recording 3.3 crore, even though you are not selling the asset, then also you are recording 3.3 crore. Later on, when you sell, it is not a double income. It is the same income. Earlier, you have already recorded as other comprehensive. It will remain as only. It will not be transferred to PL account as a realized gain. It will shift once element of operation of business. Proverbs proofs means what? It will shift once element of operation of business proofs. I am not getting this, sir. Ravish ji. It will
सर
shift.
पहले हाँ मतलब पहले P&L अप्रोप्रिएशन में अभी रिकॉर्ड किया है
सर
मतलब
पीएल अप्रोप्रिएशन
comprehensive
बोल के कुछ होता नहीं है, वो 10-15 साल पहले होता था, हो गया खत्म.
हाँ मतलब कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इनकम में अभी रिकॉर्ड किया हुआ है
हाँ.
एंड देन आफ्टर द रियलाइज्ड गेन we need to shift once the operation proves of the business or operation for the
My
business
operation of
prove
the
होता है
business can never become sale of property, sir. I am never thinking in dreams also. My operation of business can never become sale of property. Maybe I am not conducting the training classes here. I will sell the property. That's other thing. But my operation can never become sale of property. So this will never become my operational business. Maybe in some businesses it can be. मैं ये बोलना चाह रहा हूं, सोम सुब्रो सेड दैट कि लेटर ऑन इट विल बी रिकॉर्डेड, सो यू कैन नॉट रिकॉर्ड वन गेन ट्वाइस. आज आपने यू हैव नॉट येट सोल्ड, स्टिल यू आर रिकॉर्डिंग. सो व्हेन यू सेल इट इज द सेम इनकम. इट्स जस्ट दैट यू हैव नॉट रिसीव्ड कैश, नाउ यू आर रिसीविंग कैश, बट इनकम इज ऑलरेडी रिकॉर्डेड. सो दिस विल रिमेन हियर ओनली. आपको नेक्स्ट दिस पीएल अकाउंट इज प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर एवरी ईयर. 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26. Suppose 25, 26, I am selling this property. So this 3.3 crore will not come again in 25, 26. The gain is already recorded today. Why it will be again recorded? क्या राविश जी?
नहीं वो तो समझ में आ गया सर.
हाँ?
लेकिन मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ कि वो रिकॉर्ड कब करेंगे, मतलब शिफ्ट कब करना है अब फ्रॉम द कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव टू प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट.
मैंने तो बोला कभी करना ही नहीं है. मैंने कब बोला? यही तो मैं बोल रहा हूं. When I am saying items that will not be reclassified to PL, इसका मतलब क्या है कि it will never be recorded in PL account as a gain, even though you sell this asset, then also.
Okay, it will be remain in the comprehensive forever.
माने comprehensive forever means this is prepared for 23, 24. You have recorded the free valuation gain 3.3 crore. अब 24, 25 में तो आएगा नहीं. You are not doing the gain again in the next year. Once only.
Yes.
I am providing training classes to you. I receive tuition fees. So I will record in 23, 24 only. I cannot record Ravi's tuition fees in 24, 25 again. I can't. That way.
Okay, okay.
एक चीज जरूर होएगा जो मैंने अभी तक बोला नहीं, जो अब मैं बोलूंगा, क्योंकि मेरे को मालूम है कि जनरली ध्यान नहीं देते हैं हम लोग, या हो सकता है कि कभी कुछ और सोच रहे हैं. I have said in the last class, the format of statement of changes in equity. You all understand that how much importance it is that you need to know the format. If I am teaching anything, then I am going again and again in the format. So if the student remember the format of PL account, balance sheet and state, so it will be very easy. I don't need to go again and again in the same notes. जाना नहीं पड़ेगा. आपका crystal clear picture होना चाहिए. You can see here. Transfer to retained earnings. What is this? From the revaluation reserve, I am eliminating and I am taking to retained earnings. What is retained earning? Retained earning is, suppose in the Saraf Academy, 1st April 2023, the retained earning was 1 crore. In the current year, profit is 20 lakh. The 23-24 profit sales minus all the expenditures 20 lakh. Not other comprehensive. The profit for the period is 20 lakh. If you don't remember this, then it is very difficult to teach and it is very difficult to understand every chapter. For that reason, I said in the previous class, those who don't have accounting knowledge very poor or very basic, then they should prepare the format 1 or 2 times in their notes. Balance sheet, PL account is statement of changes in equity format. And those who have studied accounts, suppose CA Inter, CA Pass, CMA Pass, good accounting knowledge, they know already the format. But jinko nahi malum hai, they are very much essential that to understand these classes, you need to prepare the format once and twice before starting the syllabus. मैंने last class में बोला था, लेकिन there are some student अजय, हबीब don't want to study. अभी तो आप ये पूछ ले रहे हैं, 2-3 क्लास 4 क्लास बाद आपको खुद को शर्म आएगी. Then you leave it and then you will not give exam and you will say that sir office pressure this that. Don't make it difficult sir. Request to everybody, हाथ जोड़कर विनती है. If you don't have the knowledge of the format of PL account, balance sheet, statement of changes in equity, please do it. Please write it so that you able to remember and I don't need to go up and down, up and down, up and down again and again. So what I was saying here, मैं गुस्सा नहीं हूं, लेकिन मेरे को गुस्सा आएगा अगर आप ये बार बार तीसरी चौथी क्लास में भी ये बात करोगे. Sir, what? Sir, where in PL? Sir, where in balance sheet? That means you don't want to follow. And that means a simple thing you want to make it very difficult, very cumbersome. Then in that case, forget about giving exam. June 25 नहीं, June 27 तक भी exam नहीं होएगा. समझ लीजिए. Not that it's a question that you are busy or you are working or not. Regular study is must, not for your exam passing, but for growth in life. Okay? Which happens with many of the students in the class. Year after year, months after months, they are go on doing the classes. What they want to do in life, I don't understand. Don't know. The same thing taught in the beginning, they were there, then out. Again in the next batch, they are again in what they are doing. It's a big nautanki they are doing. They know, I know. I don't want to say this. But don't make Habib or Ajay ji that type of student. It's not a question that you are busy or not. If you just be serious that I need to study regularly, the problem will not arise. I mean to say that I was saying retained earnings. In Saraf Academy on 1st April 2023, suppose the retained earning is 1 crore. You will say, what is this? Just let me see. 1 crore on 1st April. The current year, the prepare PL account, 23-24, March 24 is getting over. Around 15 days are left. So for current year, when we are preparing PL account, then this profit for the year, for the period is 20 lakh. Not other comprehensive. In Saraf Academy, the profit for the period is 20 lakh. So in the statement of changes in equity, the opening balance of retained earning is 1 crore. Forget about this change in policy. And then the profit for the year. The profit for the year is 20 lakh. You will say, what is this? This is revaluation of property 3.3 crore. So 3.3 crore other comprehensive I am writing under revaluation, and profit for the year 20 lakh I am writing here. The profit PL account 2 portions, profit and other comprehensive. Other comprehensive becomes revaluation and retained earning becomes 20 lakh. So this is 1 crore 20 lakh. Now the closing retained earning is 1 crore 20 lakh if nothing is there. So what is retained earning? Cumulative profits of all the years. Last year opening balance 1 crore. That means all the profit till 1st April 23. Current year profit is 20 lakhs, 1 crore 20 lakh. So cumulative profit retained earnings at the end of the year 1 crore 20 lakh. But suppose I am talking for 26-27 after 2 years from now. I sold the property. This 3.3 crore which is recorded as income in 23-24 revaluation gain. That property in 26-27 sold out. So this 3.3 crore is transferred from revaluation reserve to retained earning. It is not coming in PL. It is not coming in profit and loss account. It is coming here. From one reserve to another reserve. Revaluation reserve is a reserve which is not realized in cash, which is just by revaluation. But the retained earning is a reserve which is realized in cash. So when I will sell the property and the 3.3 crore I realized, then from revaluation reserve, this is transferred to retained earning. So in 26-27, the revaluation reserve will be 3.3 crore less and the retained earning will be 3.3 crore more. Before 26-27, this 3.3 crore cannot be used for a dividend payment to shareholders because you can pay dividend when something you have realized. But in 26-27, this becomes a realized gain. So this 3.3 crore can be used for a dividend payment to shareholders. This is an adjustment in a statement of changes in equity, not in the profit and loss account. When the asset will be sold out, when the revalued asset will be sold out, then the gain realized will be transferred from revaluation reserve to retained earning, not a compulsion. If you want, आपको फिर भी नहीं करना है, मत करिए. It's not a compulsion. You need to remember that in practical life, out of this 3.3 crore can be used for dividend payment because it is realized. So better to transfer here. These share capital, share premium, revaluation, retained, all final figure will be coming where? In the balance sheet under liability side equity. Under equity, share capital, retained earning, revaluation reserve, share premium, all the things. So these final figures you will be recording in the balance sheet. In 23-24, the revaluation reserve includes 3.3 crore. But in 26-27, the 3.3 crore is actually part of retained earnings. So we can say that when the asset which is revalued is sold out, then the realized gain can be transferred from revaluation reserve to retained earnings. Because then it is a realized gain. Then it can be used for a dividend payment. Then we can transfer to retained earning, but no adjustment in PL account. Because the gain is 2 years back. The gain is not now. It is actually unrealized gain becomes a realized gain. But there is no double gain. 3.3 crore once, not twice. That we can say will be happening. When there is an asset revalued up, you will record the gain in PL account under other comprehensive income, under the heading items which cannot be reclassified to PL. You will be recording in a statement of changes in equity that gain under revaluation reserve. But when this asset will be sold out to year 3, year 4, year 5, year 10 years, whenever, and this unrealized gain becomes realized, then this revaluation reserve can be transferred to retained earnings, which is not a question of PL account, which is an adjustment from one reserve to another reserve, from non-realized reserve to realized reserve. We generally say that revaluation reserve is other components of equity, OCE, other components of equity. Retained earning is also component of equity, but retained earning is a realized component of equity and revaluation reserve is a non-realized component of equity. Equity means share capital and all other items are called other components of equity. In short, OCE. Revaluation reserve is a non-realized other components of equity, but retained earning is a realized other components of equity, but all are called OCE. So it is not a compulsion that you need to transfer 3.3 from here to here. आपकी मर्जी है. If you are feeling okay, you transfer. If you don't feel okay, don't transfer. But all over the world, every organization, every small, big or anybody are transferring this from this to here.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, so and that 3.3 crore, you're saying it will be in revaluation reserve, okay? And similarly, that 3.3 figure will also be in balance sheet equity reserve.
In 23-24
23,
as a
24,
part
right.
of revaluation reserve.
Right, sir. So now, if in 26, if we decide to sell, you're saying revaluation
We have
reserve,
sold, not
we
decide
have
to
sold.
sell, we sold. Huh.
We have sold. So that will be shifted to retained earning 3.3 crore. Okay. So what will happen to balance sheet figure then? 3.3 will be, it will be there only, balance sheet?
It will be there, but it was there earlier in this reserve, revaluation reserve. Now it will
Right.
be under retained earning.
Retained earnings. Okay.
Earlier, it was 3.3 crore in revaluation reserve. And in the asset side, you have increased the assets value by 3.3. So both balance sheet tally, liability gone up by revaluation reserve, asset gone up by assets value. Now there is
Right.
no change in the asset side. The revaluation reserve becomes a retained earnings. So again, there is no change in the balance sheet assets and liability. It was
Right,
just a reserve which was not realized. Now it becomes realized reserve.
Correct, correct. Just another form of asset only. It will be, the figure will be there only at least.
I will not say another form of asset. I will say that another form of earning.
Earning,
Earlier, it
right.
was an earning which was not in hand. Now
Correct.
this is an earning which is in your hand.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
सर लेकिन डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर करने के लिए तो रिटेन अर्निंग में ही करना पड़ेगा, बराबर?
नहीं, अगर आप नहीं भी ट्रांसफर करेंगे और आप बोलेंगे कि वी हैव सोल्ड एन एसेट एंड द इनकम which is realized in cash is still there in revaluation reserve, you can declare a dividend out of that by explaining in the notes to accounts.
ओके ओके. और
There is
सर
no problem.
दूसरा एक क्वेश्चन था,
हाँ.
दूसरा एक क्वेश्चन था रिगार्डिंग द पॉइंट जो हमने पहले एक्सप्लेन किया कि एक स्टैंड अलोन कंपनी है और स्टैंड अलोन कंपनी का इन्वेंट्री जो है दैट इज द नॉर्मल आइटम और उसका जो कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव में इनकम है वो कुछ असेट बेस्ड क्या है?
One second, come again. What company is there?
इट्स अ नॉर्मल इन्वेंट्री, कोई भी इन्वेंट्री बेच रही है, कोई भी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी है.
नहीं तो
उसका
और अच्छा
property का
एग्जांपल लेते
business
हैं ना, उसको हवा में नहीं बोलते हैं. आप मानिए आईटीसी है.
ओके.
Then in that case
Okay.
clarity will be better.
तो आईटीसी सिगरेट बेचती है
हाँ.
और उसका प्रॉपर्टी का कोई बिजनेस नहीं है, तो
हाँ.
प्रॉपर्टी का जो गेन जो हुआ मतलब वो कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव में हमने अभी पार्क किया हुआ है, बराबर?
प्रॉपर्टी का
और
डील हुआ
वो
माने प्रॉपर्टी का रिवैल्यूएशन
प्रॉपर्टी
हुआ, फेयर वैल्यूएशन हुआ.
रिवैल्यूएशन या
ठीक है.
वही वो कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव में किया है.
हाँ.
और अभी जो भी हमारा जो कंसोलिडेटेड अकाउंट बनेगा, क्योंकि जो कंपनी में बात कर रहा हूँ ना वो सिस्टर कंपनी थी,
हाँ.
वो पेरेंट कंपनी नहीं थी. अभी
हाँ.
पेरेंट कंपनी में जो भी हम बैलेंस शीट बनाएंगे
हाँ.
तो वो पेरेंट कंपनी में अभी मानो कि वो जो पेरेंट कंपनी है उसका मेन बिजनेस प्रॉपर्टी का है.
हाँ.
तो ग्रुप अकाउंट हम जब बनाएंगे
हाँ.
ग्रुप अकाउंट,
हाँ.
तो जो कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इनकम ऑफ द सिस्टर कंसर्न वो हम रिकॉर्ड उसमें कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव में ही रखेंगे, बराबर?
Because when we are preparing group accounts, others may not be able to understand, forget it, because he is going in some different area. I don't consider me, my wife, my son, my mother, all are same. So when we are preparing comprehensive accounts, then it's not that it's a sister concern, it's all are one. There is no difference between
Okay.
parent, subsidiary and all that. तो आज
So,
अगर
so
पेरेंट
the-
का बिजनेस इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी और सब्सिडी का नहीं है, आप एक बार ऐसा सोचिए कि मेरा दो बिजनेस है. एक मेरा बिजनेस है विच इज प्रॉपर्टी कंस्ट्रक्शन, एक मेरा बिजनेस है नॉन प्रॉपर्टी कंस्ट्रक्शन. नॉन प्रॉपर्टी कंस्ट्रक्शन रीवैल्यूएशन गेन विल बी अदर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इनकम ओनली. डजंट मैटर
got it.
वेदर इट इज ए सिस्टर और अ पेरेंट, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता उससे.
ओके, मतलब वो फिर हम पूरा कंसोलिडेटेड बनाएंगे फिर भी रिस्पेक्टिव
उधर
ऑफ
भी
द
अदर
बिजनेस ऑफ द
कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव में ही
पेरेंट.
दिखाएंगे.
बस
यस.
बस बस वही
हाँ.
चाहिए. ओके, थैंक यू.
हाँ. यस साथी बाबू, टेल मी.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, in this statement of changes in equity statement, because for me, okay, but some people, beginners also, as you said, the beginners also following these classes. Just I want to address one thing that we need to show up profit for the period instead of showing a total comprehensive income, so that profit for the period should be shown directly to the retained earnings. and the comprehensive income should show directly to transfer to the reserves. So in this statement, just it's clubbed together, and showing separately the X symbol. But just I want to you can correct it, or if
no, your understanding is correct, but it is written like this only. I am going into further detail. Suppose you prepare PL account for Saraf Academy. I am preparing. In PL account, sales minus cost of goods sold minus admin, selling, tax and everything, profit for the year is 20 lakh.
Yeah.
Then in other comprehensive income, property revaluation 3.3 crore. So you will see in the PL account, I will be saying total comprehensive income 3.5 crore. One is profit for the year 20 lakh and one is other comprehensive income 3.3. So it is coming 3.5 crore. So I'm saying that from my PL account, the total comprehensive income is 3.5 crore. That 3.5 crore is divided into two parts. One portion is 3.3 crore and one portion is 20 lakh. The 3.3 crore is a part of revaluation gain, other comprehensive income, and retained earning is 20 lakh. I will be writing this in one go only. Total comprehensive income as per PL account 3.5 crore. 3.3 crore is revaluation and 0.2 crore is retained earning.
Okay, is it okay, sir, that without showing the profit for the period, we can club together
like
and
this
showing
only,
the
sir. This is the normal notation. They don't show the profit for the period 20 and then other comprehensive here. Nobody shows like this because the PL account is called profit and loss for the period and other comprehensive income. So in the end, you will see that in PL account, when in the PL account we are going, then in the PL account we are saying the write-up, total comprehensive income. This total comprehensive income we are recording in a statement of changes in equity. But this total comprehensive income has two parts. One is profit for the period 20 lakh and one is the other comprehensive income which is 3.3. So I am recording 3.5 crore in two columns. One column 3.3 crore for revaluation gain and the another column 0.2 crore for retained earnings. So nobody in the practical life write profit for the period 0.2, other comprehensive 3.3. There is no wrong, but everybody writes like this only, total comprehensive income.
Fine, fine, okay. Because
I'm
right
not
now,
discussing after any ledger, journal or anything. I think accounting is not journal ledger. I will discuss, but in 2 minutes.
okay, sir, fine.
Then where it will be shown in the statement of changes in equity, it will evaluation reserve. This is not the exhaustive list, sir. Share capital, share premium, revaluation, retained earning. There are many other reserves. General reserves, you will say other components of equity, cash flow hedging, so many things are there. The columns will increase depending upon other items. It is just a presentation of 4 items. Maybe in your equity, there are 6-7 items. So there will be 6-7 columns, sir. And in the life, you know that Excel is there. Column ही column होता है यार. जितना column बनाए, है ना? Because if I will write here so many items, then you all get confused. But depending upon requirement, there are so, as I said in the last class, just do after the class a Google search. See the financial statement of Reliance. See the financial statement of ITC. See the financial statement of Google. Now, that financial statement is 250 to 300 pages. Don't try to see everything. And it is also in the font size 7 to 8. You will go mad. But at least you can see the balance sheet, PL account, statement of changes in equity at least. क्या-क्या item लिखा है? You will get a better feeling. Because you understand that in exam, there is a question of 20 marks, 30 marks, 15 marks, 10 marks. You are given certain detail and you are answering that. But in the practical life, you are not answering for a question. You are concerned with the entire organization affairs. And you are dealing with so many persons who are working under you. आपको उनको सबको help करना है, deal करना है. Study is for that purpose. So when anybody will see the financial statement of a listed company, whatever you like, any company, feeling will be better, much better. Maybe you are not reading every line and line, everything, because that will take 2 months to read the total financials. notes to accounts है, लेकिन at least देख सकते हैं. So this is just some of the item. In the PL account, all the items are there, but just that what items are not there? In the PL account, I have not written every item here under items will not be classified, items will be reclassified to PL. मैंने सारा नहीं लिखा है. For profit for the period, all major headings are covered, but here items are there. In the balance sheet also, if I will say, in the balance sheet also, the major headings, suppose I will say major headings. The major headings, here. One second. The major headings, non-current assets. And then the current assets are okay. But there are not only 3 items. There will be goodwill, brand, patent, trademark, copyrights. So many things are there. Somebody will say investment in equity, investment in bonds, investment in government security, investment in debentures, investment in property. There are so many items. It is major headings, non-current, current. In non-current, some major examples. In current assets, some major item. In equity, balance sheet, some major items. In non-current, current. ये exhaustive list नहीं है. It's a मोटा-मोटी list. The other sub items can be there. Similarly, in the statement of changes in equity, it is not an exhaustive list. It is just some of the items, but at least itna basic knowledge we need to develop. Otherwise, it will be very difficult, because when I will be going further, again and again, I will be going in PL account, balance sheet, again and again, it will be difficult for you also to understand, and for me also to give the examples there, again and again. So anybody like Sathi Babu is saying that suppose I don't have good information knowledge, but you need to at least basic knowledge everybody need to develop by preparing format of PL account, balance sheet, statement of changes in equity in basic level. बना के ready रखना होएगा. So that when we are discussing, you are not going haywire. You are able to correlate.
Right,
What we are discussing. Yes.
Adnan with you, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
tell me.
just a question, sir, that if our revaluation reserve or revaluation is 3.3 crores, right? And our period profit for period is 20 lakhs, right, sir?
Yes.
So
0.2
do
crore.
we pay tax on 3.5 or?
We pay tax on 0.2. If I will pay on 3.3 crore, I will become Kangal. There is no money from where I will pay tax. So tax is not payable on 3.3 crore. It is just an accounting adjustment. You need to pay tax on 0.2 crore only. Because if there is no money in the pocket, how you will pay tax? You will say to income tax department, how I will pay tax? I don't have money to pay, sir. ठीक है ना?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Because otherwise nobody will be able to survive. Then the accounting need to be changed. Then the account need to say that we can't record, I mean to say, revaluation gain. It is not allowed. We cannot record revaluation gain. फिर accounting ऐसा बनना पड़ेगा. So accounts is not income tax. Account is not company law. Accounts is accounts. The accounting rules, the Companies Act, the income tax rules in different countries are different. And just for confirmation, I am not a taxation and regulatory person. So if you ask any taxation or company law rules, हो सकता है मैं गलत बोलूं भाई. I will be saying with my common sense. So ये common sense है, मेरे को पता है, लेकिन इतना income tax act वगैरह ध्यान नहीं है यार. Sorry भाई. ठीक है? Now, let's go into some journal or ledger. But journal ledger will take just 5 to 7 minutes. Debit credit will understand. We will be able to understand in 5 to 7 minutes. We are saying that when we prepare books of accounts, the books of accounts are prepared based on transactions. Whatever transactions we are doing during the year. Those transactions are, first of all, arises in documents. purchase, sales, delivery challan, documents, this, that. They are arising through documents. And then based on the documents, they are recorded in the books of accounts as a journal ledger. First of all, we record a journal. Journal means for every transaction, there are two aspects. One is debit, one is credit. How we will be able to say debit or credit? I think whether anybody is very basic level accountant, you understand what is an asset and what is a liability. Whenever there is an increase in asset, debit. Whenever there is increase in asset, debit. Now you will be able to remember everything. Decrease in asset, credit. Increase in liability, credit. Decrease in liability, debit. You will say how? Let's start. Suppose the same example, I am purchasing this computer for 1 lakh. Computer is an asset for Saraf Academy. So increase in asset, 1 lakh. I said increase in asset, debit. This is golden rules or modern accounting concept. I am not saying real personal nominal. That is bacha wala account. Traditional method of understanding debit credit. Modern method of understanding debit credit. Increase in asset, debit. So when I am purchasing a computer, then increase in computer asset, debit. If I am purchasing computer and paying cash, then cash is also an asset. But the cash is going down. Decrease in asset, credit. So the journal entry for purchase of computer, computer account, debit, increase in asset. Cash account, credit, decrease in asset. 1 lakh, 1 lakh. 1 lakh increase in computer, 1 lakh decrease in cash. If I am purchasing computer in credit, I will pay later. That means I am purchasing computer, computer increase in asset, debit. But I will pay for the computer after 15 days, 1 month, 2 months. So that is a liability, increase in liability, credit. So I will say computer account debit, 1 lakh. Liability for computer credit, 1 lakh. Cash is credited because decrease in asset. Liability is credited because increase in liability. If I am saying I am doing revaluation of an asset, if it is computer, 62,000 value taken to 35,000. Decrease in asset. Decrease in asset. Credit. So computer account credit 62 to 35, 27,000. Now there is a loss. You will say now, sir, there is no asset or liability debit. If in a business we consider separate entity concept. What is separate entity? If you are preparing accounts for Prakash Saraf, not Saraf Academy, Prakash Saraf. Prakash Saraf and the business of Prakash Saraf are two separate entities. The owner is a separate person and the business is a separate artificial person. The owner is giving money to the business. So for business, it is a liability. Capital is a liability. When owner is giving money to the business, for the business, it is a liability. Separate entity concept. So if the business is suffering loss, ultimately, who is suffering loss? The owner of the business, because business is an artificial person. So if Prakash Saraf has given capital to the business, and if the business has suffered loss, then the loss will be adjusted from the capital balance. Whatever capital given by Prakash Saraf to the business, the capital balance will be going down because of the loss. So decrease in liability is actually because of loss. When there is a loss, it is actually called a decrease in liability. Decrease in capital. Decrease in liability means decrease in capital. I said increase in asset, debit. Increase in liability, credit. Decrease in liability, debit. So when the computer value 62 to 35,000, there is 27,000 decrease in asset value, credit. And there is decrease in capital, decrease in liability, debit. You can say loss on revaluation, debit. You can see profit and loss account debit, because as just now we discussed, the loss on revaluation will be recorded in PL account. You can see loss on revaluation. You can see profit and loss account. You can see whatever. Nobody can charge you. But ultimately that loss will be recorded in PL account under cost of sale. Cost of sale will be incorporating that. Profit will be going down. Ultimately, capital of the business will be going down. Liability of the business will be going down. If I'm talking about property, 70 lakh to 4 crore, 3.3 crore gain. Property debit, because increase in asset, 3.3 crore. It is a gain. Gain means increase in liability. Credit. Increase in liability is a revaluation gain. Revaluation gain credit, 3.3. Revaluation gain will be coming in the PL account under other comprehensive income. And that revaluation gain will be coming in the statement of changes in equity under the column revaluation gain. And then it will be coming in the balance sheet under equity revaluation gain, whatever the total figure. What I mean to say that for every transaction which can be measured in monetary term, suppose in Saraf Academy, one of the staff left the organization, there cannot be any journal entry, because I cannot associate any value to that. Every transaction in the business which has a monetary value, they will be accounted for as a journal. They will be accounted for as a journal. In the journal, there will be one debit, there will be one credit. The debit and credit total in every journal will be same. Maybe you are in a transaction 2 debit and 2 credits, 2 debit and 5 credits, but every journal will have total debit, total credit same. The principle, modern accounting principle, increase in asset debit. Remember, those who are basic level of accountant don't know accounting. I'm teaching from basics. Suppose this is to be taught to somebody who is studying accounting first time. From there I am starting. Just that if I'm teaching to them, maybe I will be teaching them this thing for whole class 2 hours with different examples. आपको मैं उतनी 2 hours नहीं लगा रहा, बस इतना ही difference है. If I'm teaching to 10 pass out, 12 pass out student, never studied accounts, then the same thing principle I will be teaching them for 2 hours with different examples. Capital introduced in the business, asset purchase, goods purchase, asset sale, this, that. And every item I will be telling them asset, liability, increase, decrease, debit, credit. I see. I mean to say that for your level, maybe you are a basic accountant. Since you are working professional, not that I'm exaggerating. I'm just saying that you are practical enough. वो बच्चा लोग है. You are practical enough. In every transaction, you can understand what is an asset and a liability. Whether there is increase in asset, debit. Whether there is decrease in asset, credit. Whether there is increase in liability, credit. Whether there is decrease in liability, debit. That's the debit credit. In every journal, the total of the debit, the total of the credit will be same. After the journal, we prepare ledger. What is a ledger? After the journal, we prepare ledger. Suppose purchase of computer on credit. So computer debit. Computer debit 1 lakh. 1 lakh. Liability or creditor for computer. Liability for computer, I will pay later, 1 lakh. Now what is a ledger? Maybe I am purchasing in a year computer 3 times. Maybe I am selling computer also in a year. I am doing revaluation of the computer also, as I discussed. So in my journal, in my every transaction, computer debit, credit, whole year it is happening. If I am saying tuition fees, I am getting tuition fees every day from different students. Every day the journal and the ledger is happening. So ledger is a summary of all the journal. In place of seeing each individual journal, if you see the ledger, you are sorted in one time. So ledger is what? Is journal ka ledger. You will prepare a computer account. In computer account, this is a computer debit. So in the ledger, we say this is debit side. This is debit side. And this is credit side. Okay? In the debit side, when I am saying in my journal entry, computer is debited. So in the ledger, I will write in the debit side what? In the computer, I will write this item. The other item, I will say debit, liability for computer. Liability for computer 1 lakh. Okay? If I am purchasing computer during the year 3 times, I will be writing in the debit side with the dates. In the left hand side, there will be date column also. I have not made the column. With the date, I will be writing 3 times. If I am selling computer, if I am revalue, every time debit, credit, blah, blah, blah will be happening. In the whole year, in the ledger account of computer, I can see 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 items, debit, 10 item, credit, and so on. For every journal, I will be post in the ledger. So that in the ledger, I am getting a summary. And in the summary, there are debit total and the credit total. The debit total may be greater than the credit total, or the credit total may be greater than the debit total, or the debit and credit total are equal. कुछ भी हो सकता है. But at the end of the year, I will balance. I will find out my ledger balance, whether the debit side is greater than the credit side. Normally, if it is an asset, 99% debit side will be greater than the credit side. Like suppose here, we are saying that other than this, there is no item. There is no transaction, no revaluation, nothing. So I will say that balance carried down. That is closing balance. Debit side total 1 lakh, credit side 0, I will say 1 lakh. The total becomes, the total of both the sides 1 lakh. The total of both the sides 1 lakh. In the credit side 1 lakh. In the credit side, I have written balancing figure 1 lakh. I will make the total of both the sides equal, and wherever I am getting the balancing figure, I will say balance. If the balance I am writing in the credit side, it is debit side more. It is called the debit balance. I am writing in the credit side, but it is called debit balance. For all the assets, debit balance. For all the assets, debit balance. If these are assets, computer is an asset, then this balance will be going in the balance sheet. If suppose this is a ledger for purchases, this is a ledger for sales, this is a ledger for administration expense, anything, then the income and expenditures are going in PL account, profit and loss account. All the transactions are recorded as a journal. The journal are posted in the ledger. The ledger balance at the end of the year, we find out. And that ledger balance are recorded in the PL account and the balance sheet. If they are income or expenses, they are recorded in the PL account. If they are assets and liability, they are recorded in the balance sheet. From the income statement PL account, the net figure we take in statement of changes in equity, that is profit and all that. And from there, it is gone in the balance sheet. And then we say that at the end of the year, the balance sheet assets liability will be equal. Why? Because from the beginning only the total journal debit and credit are same. So in the ledger, if there is a debit 1 lakh, in other account there is a credit 1 lakh. For every item there is a double balancing. So never it will happen that your balance sheet is not tallied, because for every debit you have a credit. Somebody will say that, sir, ये ऐसा accounts कौन बनाया? क्या किया? Now you need to go in the history. I think 500, 700 years back. Someday I was attending a seminar by SEMA or ACCA, somebody, he has shown me some picture that this is the person who has generated accounting concepts. मैं उसमें नहीं जा रहा, मेरे को नाम भी याद नहीं है. Question ये आ रहा है कि the person who has made all this, or any body or any authority, they found that if we will find any mistake, how we will identify? अगर कुछ गलती, because the transactions in any business, small company, Saraf Academy, are 1,000. 1,000 journal entries and all that. So if we do any mistake, how we will be able to identify? We will never be able to locate the mistake if we don't follow the double entry concept. For every debit, there is a credit. So if there is a wrong, you will be able to identify because of this balancing nature. Everything has a logic. For that reason, the person said that the accounting will be prepared based on double entry concept. For every transaction, there are two aspects, debit, credit. You record both the aspects. So both the aspects, total figure will be same. If it is not coming same, there is some mistake. I teach in the basic level classes 10, 11, 12, journal, ledger, trial balance, rectification of errors and all that. Because understand, you will say that, sir, hum log ko bhi wo padhna hai. Believe me, if you start studying that, you will get very bored. That's not to be studied because they are kids. They have never worked anywhere. उनको वहां से चालू करने की जरूरत है. आप काम कर रहे हैं, आप वर्क कर रहे हैं, आप प्रैक्टिकली सोचिए, सब समझ में आएगा. उनके जैसे आपको बेवकूफ नहीं बनना है. यस मिस्टर रविश, टेल मी.
सर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इनकम में जो भी हमारी इनकम बिकॉज ऑफ द रिवैल्यूएशन जो हुई है, that we will transfer carry forward to our revaluation reserve. But the other components of the comprehensive income, जो income revaluation के अलावा जो हुई, other than revaluation, उसको हम retain earning में transfer करेंगे ना?
नहीं. I have not discussed every item of comprehensive income. Revaluation is just one item. We will discuss cash flow hedging.
Forex भी
hedging.
होगा. Okay, hedging.
Foreign exchange reserve बहुत सारा है sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Not
So
that every
will
other
be-
item other than revaluation is retained earning. No, sir. But it is very difficult at this moment to explain all those items. Because बहुत अलग-अलग
मुझे-
अंदर यार.
मुझे थोड़ा ट्रांसफर में जो था कि ईयर एंड में हम जब क्लोजिंग करते हैं तो ट्रांसफर मतलब वो इट विल बी इन डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ द इक्विटी ना.
Transfer मतलब I am not getting.
ट्रांसफर ऑफ द प्रॉफिट of the year end to the shareholders only, basically the shareholders component. So it will
The
be maybe
PL account, I
revaluation
said
reserve.
there are two parts. One is profit for the period, one is other comprehensive. In other comprehensive, revaluation is just one item. There are many other items also. So I am saying that all those items of other comprehensive will not be part of retained earning. All those items had a different heading. Whether it's a foreign exchange reserve, whether it's a group reserve, whether it's a general reserve, whether it's a share premium, whether it's anything. Not they are retained earning.
But that ultimately is the profit of the business and it will be carried to
But the profit of the business is 3.3 crore also. There is no money in the pocket. So there is a big difference between 0.2 crore and 3.3 crore. Big difference, sir.
No, मेरा क्वेश्चन क्या है कि अल्टीमेटली जो प्रॉफिट हुआ है कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इनकम, that we will carry forward to the our liability side at the
Because profit of the business is
exam-
payable to the owners. So for the business,
Yes,
it is
yes,
a
yes.
liability. Whether it's
तो
a
वो
realized
हमको-
or whether it is not
तो
realized.
वो liability में कौन से हेडिंग में we will store
Under
that?
equity.
That will be
Under equity,
Yeah,
share
under-
capital, repair, share premium,
Yeah,
retained earning,
under
revaluation.
equity में, हाँ, under equity में अभी मेरा क्वेश्चन अब आया कि under equity में there are different types of the heading like retained earnings, revaluation,
Retained earning,
reserve.
revaluation reserve, cash flow reserve, foreign exchange reserve, many reserves, sir.
Okay, तो उसमें बताएंगे. हाँ,
हाँ.
okay, now okay, clear. Okay.
For the time being, we are discussing revaluation reserve, इसलिए उसी की बात कर रहे हैं. बट आप अलग अलग
Okay,
टॉपिक में आगे बढ़ेंगे तो बहुत सारे रिजर्व्स आएंगे सर अलग अलग. आप उन सबको
Okay,
ऐसा
got it.
मानिए, ये लोग ऐसा डिस्कस करते हैं अदर कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ इक्विटी, OCE, because it is very difficult
Okay.
to say what are the different types of reserves. So we always say all other reserves as OCE, other components of equity. ऐसा याद रखेंगे,
Got
बेटर
it,
है.
sir.
ठीक है.
Got it.
Yeah. So what I was telling that whenever there is a transaction happen, we need to see that what are the assets and liabilities are changing. Based on increase or decrease in the assets and liability, the journal entry is recorded. The journal entry is posted in the ledger. The ledgers will be giving you summary of all the transactions during the month, during the period, generally at the end of the period. So at the end of the year, we do the balancing of the ledger, debit, credit, total differences. That difference is called the ledger balance, and that balance is recorded in PL account balance sheet as assets, liability, income, expenditure. Actually, practically, first of all, that difference is recorded in trial balance to see that all debits and credits are same or not. When it is same, then we prepare PL account balance sheet. Trial balance is not a compulsion. It is just to check that you have recorded all the transactions correctly or not, so that you can prepare your financial statement. So अभी जो हम लोगों ने revaluation के बारे में भी discussed, we have discussed about revaluation. Revaluation up, revaluation down. We need to understand journal entry relating to revaluation, because not in IFRS exam, but in SBR exam, sometimes they are asking student exactly that record the journal also. You will say that, sir, journal is simple, then why they are asking? According to me, maybe journal is simple, but if you are working in tally software, if anybody has done, आपको tally में just journal लिखना पड़ता है. You just need to write journal. Ledger, PL, balance sheet, tally automatically make. All the software in the world, tally is TCS company basic software. जो भी आपके यहाँ ERP system वगैरह सब जगह journal ही देना पड़ता है. So maybe they are thinking that SBR students are going to be said as champion of accounts. They should be having some basic understanding of journals. But whenever they are asking journals in the questions, those journals are not simple. Because those journals are basically, they have already done something. They have done some mistake. Now you need to rectify those mistakes. So those journals are not very simple. But in IFRS exam, they are never asking that you pass journal entry also. But suppose while writing answers for a question, if I want to explain through journals, I can. There is no compulsion. Sometimes in IFRS answer also, you will find that they have written in the solution journal entries. As far as 𝐂𝐸 case study is concerned, the questions are, what I should say, case study type. There also, when you are explaining that this should be done, this is the accounting treatment, this is done wrong, you can explain either in your write-up, in your paragraph, in your filling sentences, or if you feel you can pass journal entries also. Matlab for IFRS or 𝐂𝐸 case study, journal entry is optional type. But for the ACCA SBL exam, many times they are asking specifically in the question, do the adjustments or rectify the things or do the correct treatment along with the journal entries. यानी कि सभी के लिए जरूरत पड़ रहा है. Why I am saying this? Reason is only one. Somebody will think that, sir, मेरे को ये पढ़ना है क्या? भाई फर्स्ट क्लास से मैं एक ही बात बोल रहा हूं, ये क्वेश्चन अराइज नहीं होना चाहिए. I have seen that the problem with the 𝐂𝐸 student only one. They study the entire case study, they able to manage everything. On the day of exam, sir, accounting का सारा problem. All non-current assets, investment, property, consolidation, leasing, everything. Now, those things cannot be taught that technical thing in one day. So I have started for 𝐂𝐸 students since 2020 entire accounting teaching, so that the tension will be over. But since 2020, believe me, I'm not saying wrong, Vidya हाथ में है. Not a single student had studied 𝐂𝐸 student, not a single student. Maybe so many have passed the exams, accounts properly, not a single student. Maybe somebody has scored good marks also, but कोई जन भी accounts ठीक से नहीं पढ़ता. I don't know how the solution, because earlier student used to say, sir, why don't you teach full accounts? When you are taking 3-4 classes, we are not getting 100%. मैंने सोचा भाई छोड़. But I have found that since 2020 to 24, so many students pass 𝐂𝐸 exams, but not a single, not a single student had studied accounts properly. और सबका लास्ट में अकाउंट्स के कारण ही गड़बड़ होता है, वही नहीं समझ पाते. So ये सब बात दिमाग से, in your brain, if it is there, please wash out. It's not a study going on for 𝐂𝐸, for IFRS, for this, that. Everybody, accounts we are studying. Whether it will come in the exam or not, don't know. Study. Understand the concept. अभी आपको easy लगेगा because first class is going on. Now the same thing I cannot explain after 4 classes. I assume that the revaluation you remember. I assume that you have understood revaluation properly. You have revised. Otherwise, 3-4 class baad when suppose I am going in advanced topic and there I will give the example of revaluation we did in the first class and you need to recollect. There is no other option because at that time I cannot teach this. When you are asking investment in securities, shares, investment property, जब मैं वहां पढ़ाऊंगा तो ये वाली बात बोलूंगा तो आप यहाँ वाला फिर कैसे बोलूंगा? Otherwise, so I could have said all the things together. Be serious that you need to study entire thing, not for the exam. Forget about that secondary. If you want to work in accounting, business and finance domain, accounts understanding is prime importance. आपको ये समझना है. So this example is a base to understand revaluation fully. There are something which I have not yet said. I will be saying now. अभी तक मैंने बोला ही नहीं. Why? Because it was not, I am not in a position to explain that earlier. I will, when something we have understood, now we are in a position to understand extra things, which I have not said up till now, which I will be saying now. Okay? It is just an example to understand. The example is relevant in every organization of the world. Forget that this is only a question. जहां पर भी आप काम करेंगे, everywhere this will be relevant. O Limited has a year end. In the last class, if you remember at the end, when the revaluation starts, I said that we cannot continue now because I cannot complete revaluation in 5-10 minutes. Otherwise, I would have completed this IAS 16 in the last class only. मेरे को 1 hour, 1.5 hours लग चुका है revaluation बताने में, and still it is not complete. So when I found that something will take huge time, then I stopped there. No concern with the timing, because if I cannot teach something in 5-10 minutes, which will take handsome time, then I want to start from a fresh class only. So that is the reason that in the last class I have not explained revaluation, and still revaluation is not complete. When I will ask in the class, is there any doubt? Believe me, nobody will have any doubt in the class. Maybe there are so many doubts arising. When I will ask, is there any doubt? Nobody will have anything. But after that, if you don't study, you don't revise and all that, the problems will be there. O Limited has a year end of 31st December. It purchased the building for 50 million on 1st January. The company's year ending is December. It purchased the building of 50 million on 1st January 2011. 1st January 2011, they purchased the building for 50 million and attributed it a useful economic life of 50 years. And they are assuming, they are forecasting, they are estimating that life of the building will be 50 years. They will be using the building for 50 years in their business. Oliphant classified the building as property, plant and equipment and accounted for it using the revaluation model. That means they will not be recording the building on cost. After 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, whenever they deem fit, they will be doing the revaluation. But initially they need to record at 50 only. Later on, they have decided they will follow revaluation model, not the cost model. On 31st December 2012, that means from the date of purchase 2 years later, 1st January 2011. So 31st December 11 gone and 31st December 2012 we are standing, second year end. The fair value of the building was deemed to be 53 million. After 2 years, the fair value of the building 53 million. You assume in the question, this is said by a certified valuer. They will not mention in the question, this is said by certified valuer. But as I said, you can record fair value when it is given by certified valuer. So this is given by certified valuer. The total useful economic life of the building remained unchanged. When on 1st January we said 50 years and 2 years are over, they are saying that is still the balance 48 years left. The total useful life, 50 years, no change. So when 2 years gone, still 48 years are left. Forget about whatever is written here. Okay. By 31st December 2013, there was a collapse in the property prices. First of all, in December 2012, they are saying the value of the property 53. Now, after further 1 year in 2013, they are saying collapse in the prices. The fair value of the building now is 44 million. Snake and ladder. After 2 years, it was 53, 50 to 53. Now it is 44. Forget about what is written here. Okay. Discuss how the above events should have been accounted for. Now understand the question. Discuss. You want to discuss in theoretical manner in the, don't think that this type of question will not come in the exam. Your mind should not be going in that frame. Whether it will come in or not in the exam, understand what they are asking. Discuss. Discuss how the above events should have been accounted for. Now they are talking in total for 3 years. First year, 1st January 2011 to 31st December 11. Second year is 1st January 2012 to 31st December 2012. And third year, 1st January 2013 to 31st December 13. 3-year details are given. In the first year, in the beginning, there is 50 million property purchased. And in the first year, nothing happened. No story. In the second year, at the end of the year, there is a revaluation at 53 million. Other than that, nothing happened. In the third year, again at the end of third year, there is a revaluation and the revaluation is 44 million. In the second year, the fair value 53 million. In the first year, the revaluation is 44 million. And they are asking you for all the 3 years, what will be the accounting treatment? Discuss. You can discuss based on journal entries. You can discuss based on sentences, paragraphs, the way you like. No hard and fast rule that you need to pass journal. They are saying discuss. The way you like, you will explain. We are talking first of all for first year. 1st January 2011 to 31st December 2011. First year. The 1st January transaction is purchase of asset for 50 million. It is not said whether it is a purchase in cash or whether it is purchase on credit. Suppose purchase in cash. If I will say journal entry, what will be the journal entry on 1st January 2011? What will be the journal entry on 1st January 2011? Building account debit, credit cash, 50 million. Building account debit, increase in asset. Cash account credit, decrease in asset, 50 million. What will be the further journal entry in 2011? Is there any other entry? What will be the further journal entry or any other transactions relating to the asset in 2011? Depreciation. Profit and loss account, debit, credit, accumulated depreciation. Can you give logic, Kaushik? Why you are debiting PL and crediting accumulated depreciation? Why? Profit and loss account, debit, credit, accumulated depreciation. Why? Or anybody else? Maybe not Kaushik, anybody else.
Hello, yeah. We
Yes.
are charging the depreciation for the asset over the life of the asset. So it is an expense item. So in my PNL, it should come as debit. Okay. And in the balance sheet, I am showing the asset in the cost and putting all the depreciation in the head accumulated depreciation. So the net cost at the balance sheet will be total cost minus accumulated depreciation. That will be the carrying amount.
I can explain this slightly in much better way. It's okay, but or better way. When we discuss that the journal entry is increase or a decrease in the assets liability, I said that whenever there is a loss or expense, it is basically decrease in liability, because whatever the business will pay to the owner, that is decreasing. So depreciation is an expense that is decreasing the liability. decrease in liability debit, increase in liability credit, decrease in liability debit. So you can say depreciation account debit. Ultimately, it will be going in the PL account. You can say profit and loss account debit. The credit is decrease in asset. By using the asset for 1 year, you have decreased the value of assets by the depreciation amount. So whenever there is decrease in asset, asset will be credited. Accounting body says that whenever you will record depreciation in case of company, not individuals, accounting body all over the world says that if it is a company, whenever you record depreciation, you don't credit the asset. You don't credit computer, you don't credit property. You credit a separate item, accumulated depreciation on property. It is decrease in asset, but in a separate item. Why? If suppose I am looking at the balance sheet of the company, in the balance sheet, I will find the value of asset after a depreciation. But when I will go in the annexure schedule, there I will find even after 10 years, the property value 50 million. You will be able to see in the annexure the cost of the property 50 million. And you will be able to see the 10-year total depreciation under a separate write-up, accumulated depreciation. By looking at the annexure, always you will come to know what was the original cost of the asset. The accounting body is saying that those who are knowledgeable persons, those who understand what is accounts, not for a layman or a normal common man, those who understand nitty-gritties of accounts, those person always want to know what is the original cost of an asset. Always. For auditing purpose also, original cost we can match from the documents. But the other things matching from the documents will be difficult. So the accounting body said that we understand accumulated depreciation is actually decrease in asset only. But we will be recording under a separate item called accumulated depreciation. So the accounting body is saying that in the notes to accounts under annexure, under schedule, we will be saying building property 50 million. First year accumulated depreciation 50 million by 51 million. Second year again accumulated depreciation 1 million more. So you will say in the notes to accounts in the annexure, total accumulated depreciation at the end of second year 2 million. Third year 3 million. So 50 minus 2 million minus 3 million. The detail you will be able to get in the annexure or schedule, which is 48, 47, and that will be coming in the balance sheet as 48, 47. So we are saying that the credit is decrease in asset, but the decrease in asset is not written as property, because property increase in asset, you have debited 50 million. So property decrease in asset, you should credit property. But the accounting body says that we need to know from the ledger of the property, this is the original cost. So they are saying that recording the depreciation in a separate account called accumulated depreciation. In accounting language, we say contra item. For any asset, if there is a corresponding credit balance, it is called contra. Accumulated depreciation is an asset item only. It's not a liability item. Asset item. Asset contra is accumulated depreciation. You will say accumulated depreciation is decrease in asset only, but it is not recorded in the asset account. It is recorded in a contra account that is called accumulated depreciation. Just only one reason: to have the knowledge of cost of asset always. Maybe an organization is running for 50 years and they are using the same property which they have used the last 50 years. By looking at the books of accounts, you will be able to see original cost 50 years back, how much. Maybe you have done the revaluation, okay. But you will be able to see original cost from the annexure like this. That knowledge is required for accountant, for analyzing the financials and all that. For that reason, accounting body said, we will not record depreciation under property, under plant, under machine. We will be recording accumulated depreciation. So 50 million divided by 50 year, 1 million, profit and loss account debit, depreciation debit, cost of sale debit, credit accumulated depreciation. In the balance sheet, you will record 50 minus 1, 49. In the notes to accounts, annexure, schedule, whatever, you will say 50 minus 149. Next year, 50 minus 248. Next year, 50 minus 347. So it's a journal entry with the same concept. Profit and loss account, debit, depreciation, debit, decrease in liability. Accumulated depreciation, credit, decrease in asset. The principle is same. But that principle
So, sir,
slightly adjusted. Yes, sir.
So, sir, in that case, the accounting body has mainly emphasis on the fair value, ना? Original value से ज़्यादा fair value में, क्योंकि revaluation भी होगा तो वो revaluated value will be reflected over there. So the focus is on the fair value. Am I correct?
What I said, you have not heard properly. We are concerned with fair value. We are recording 70 lakh as 4 crore. But still we want to know 70 lakh has become 4.4 crore. What is the fair valuation gain? Because if we are not keeping that value in mind, आप केवल 4 crore दिखा दोगे तो आपको पता नहीं चलेगा कि आपका रीवैल्यूएशन गेन कितना है. आपने स्टार्ट कहां से किया था? Because accounts तो always talking about past ना. Management accounting is future, financial accounting is past. तो हमको 50 साल बाद भी चाहिए मेरा ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट क्या था. लिखना मेरे को फेयर वैल्यू ही, आई वांट टू रिकॉर्ड फेयर वैल्यू ओनली. But with the knowledge, this was my original cost, and in 50 years, this is the fair valuation. This is the revaluation.
Okay, got it.
लिखना फेयर वैल्यू है, बट स्टार्टिंग से एकदम शुरू से. तो इसीलिए उन्होंने ये रूल बनाया कि डेप्रिसिएशन
पूरा दिखाना है कि रिवैल्यूएशन
Yes.
इतना हुआ, फिर ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट
which you are doing in your practical world when you are preparing accounts. If you are involved, आप annexure में जो बनाते हो फिक्स्ड एसेट्स का annexure, नॉन करंट एसेट्स, आप वो सब चीज लिखते हो. पहले ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट वाला होता है, उसके बाद accumulated depreciation होता है, उसके बाद carrying value होता है. So Soman is saying book value. I want to say book value नहीं, carrying value, because the technical name for this cost minus accumulated depreciation is called carrying value. You can say book value as a loose language. Better to say carrying value, because when you read the questions, they will be using the word carrying value more and more. Huh? So the first year gone. If I am explaining the answer, discuss by passing journal entry, that one way. But only by journal entry, discussion is not done. I will say that this is a property used by the organization for business activities. So they are classifying this as property, plant and equipment. As per the IAS 16, initially the property will be recognized at cost, that is 50 million. And during the year, based on the estimated life, based on the estimated salvage value, depreciation will be charged. फिर भी आपको लिखना होगा. आप अगर जर्नल करेंगे तो भी आपको डिस्कस करना होगा. For discussion, there is no fixed write-up, comma, full stop. When you are seeing the model answer, the language of the model answer is very high-level English. The language of the model answer is writing comma, full stop from the IFRS language. Whatever is written in the IFRS, IAS 16, वो लिखते हैं वो लोग. मेरे को वो नहीं याद है. Or I think that, I will not say nobody, most of the champion in the accounts don't remember the comma full stop language. So when you are practicing questions, which you will start after at least the next class, and you want to mug up the language which is written by the model answer, इस जन्म में आप बर्बाद हो जाएंगे. You will not be able to mug up. I have never tried, never try. You practice in writing in your own language, read the question requirement, try to explain in your language. If you have confusion, you show that I am writing this, whether I will be getting the marks or not. Your confusion will not be there if you read the question. You write the answers on your own without seeing the solution. Then you see the solution. Most of the things you will understand that what mistake I am doing automatically. If still after seeing the solution you have confusion, I am Jinda, you will be telling me. But if you say in the class, sir, this is the question I can't do. This is illogical question. What you can do, you need to show me. आपको दिखाना होगा आप क्या. जब एक accounting standard we have studied, something you can do, maybe wrong, show me, so that I can focus where you are not able to understand. You cannot match the language which I am saying You cannot match the language which is written in the Kaplan or anywhere. Don't try to match that. But what is IAS 16 is saying? When an asset will be treated as property, plant and equipment, initially at what value they will be recognized? During the year Y we will charge depreciation. आपको लिखना होगा ना. Otherwise, what discussion you are doing, man? Laddu, no discussion. So even though you are passing journal entries, discuss, that need to be there. Now the second year discussion, whether you are IFRS student, whether you are CIMA student, whether you are SBR student, सबको सेम ही करना है, कोई अलग नहीं है. सबको इसी तरह का क्वेश्चन आएगा, ऐसे ही लिखना है. This is very simple question for all the exams. Questions will be more tricky. In one question there are 2-3 IAS, IFRS covered that way. But अभी मैं एक साथ कैसे जाऊं, धीरे धीरे करके ना. But ये questions आप अगर समझते हो, करते हो, लिखते हो, तो in that case आपका आगे better होएगा. So ये सब बात वापस से नहीं उठाना है. सर ये किसके लिए पढ़ा रहे हैं? सर this is for, सर ये सबके लिए, for everybody same story. Now 2012. In 2012 till the end of the year there is nothing. At the end of the year there is 53 million valuation. First of all, the second year, whole year we have used the asset. So second year again depreciation. Profit and loss account, debit, credit, accumulated depreciation, 1 million again. 50 million by 50 year, 1 million, no salvage value given, 0. So 50 million by 50 million, 1 million. 1 million in the second year, PL account, debit, credit, accumulated depreciation again. So the accumulated depreciation last year credited 1 million. And in this year credited 1 million. The total accumulated depreciation credited by 2 million. And in the third year, it will be 1 million, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of second year, what is happening? We are doing the revaluation. Because we have said that we will be doing revaluation. Somebody will say that why we had not done revaluation in the first year. Why we are doing only in the second year. I will come. Just wait. Once I will finish this question, then I will ask all of you, is there any doubt? But finishing this question will take further 15-20 minutes. So bear with me. उसके बाद आपका क्वेश्चन होगा, मैं बोलूंगा. At the end of second year, the value of asset is 50 minus 2. 50 is original cost minus 112 million accumulated depreciation. So the carrying value in case of Soman Das language book value of asset is 48 million. It's not 50. The 2-year depreciation is already recorded. The 2-year depreciation has already reduced the asset value. So the asset value is 50 million minus 2 million. That is 48 million. And that is revalued to 53 million. So 48 to 53, 5 million revaluation gain. In my case, the property revaluation gain was 3.3. In their case, in this example, it is 48 million to 653 million, 5 million gain. So the same story, the journal entry. I am saying, I am not asking, because there are some changes which I have not said earlier. I just now discussed that the accounting body said that depreciation we will not credit in the asset account. We will credit in a separate account called accumulated depreciation. The accounting body said that. Even though Kaushik is saying something, nobody see that. Just a request. मेरी बात समझिए, नहीं समझेंगे तो बार बार क्वेश्चन पूछते जाएंगे. Whether you are a basic level accountant, whether you are an advanced level like Kaushik, सबको समझना है बराबर. ठीक है? Not that Kaushik you are wrong, but एक बार शांति है, patience. The account, I'm giving logic for every debit credit. When the logic is there, never we will forget. When the logic is there, not there, just after the class we will forget. Even there are so many students who are doing this again and again 3 times. And every time they are forgetting what to say about them. They know them that they are not a serious student. They are again there for 3-4 classes, again they will go. I mean it for them, those who are doing this. ऐसे जीवन भर करके कोई मतलब नहीं. आपको serious होना पड़ेगा life में कभी ना कभी. Otherwise your interest is not there. Why you want to do something where interest is not telling? मत करिए वो. मेरा advice तो यही है. If I am not interested in teaching, how can I teach, sir? I can't. मेरे को नींद आएगा, बुला रहा है, ये कोई नौटंकी चल रहा है क्या यार? I'm enjoying, man. I'm enjoying. I am fully enjoying. Not 1% I am feeling sad. आपको मजा आ रहा है तब पढ़िए, नहीं मजा आ रहा है मत पढ़िए. Not required. I am saying that accounting body said when there is a depreciation, you don't credit the property, because we need to know the property cost even after 50 years. So you keep the property cost at 50 million only. They said that you record depreciation under accumulated depreciation account. But when there is a revaluation, whether the revaluation up or whether the revaluation down, doesn't matter. This is an example, revaluation up. There may be example like computer revaluation down, whatever may be the case. We need to understand the asset value after 2 years is not 50. It is 50 minus 2. 50 has a separate balance property and 2 has a separate balance accumulated depreciation on property. 50 has a debit balance property. Accumulated depreciation has a credit balance too. They are saying you compare 50 with 53 because your balance of the property in the ledger is not 48, 50. 50 to 53. 50 to 53. And you cancel the accumulated depreciation did or done till now. बोलेगा क्यों cancel? Because from now onwards, the value is not 50, it is 53. Earlier, you were doing the depreciation on 50. Now, after 2 years, the value for depreciation will become 53. Once the revaluation is done, the depreciation will be done based on the revalued amount. The depreciation will be considered based on the revalued amount. The revalued amount is 53. Make the asset balance from 50 to 53. So asset account, property account, debit, 3 million. 50 already there, 53 you need to take 53. That is 3 million. Accumulated depreciation you cancel. Whether there is whether there is increase in the asset value or whether there is decrease in the asset value. Accumulated depreciation you cancel. Accumulated depreciation 2 million, credit balance, debit 2 million. So the total debit is how much? The total debit is 3 million property value. Accumulation, depreciation, debit 2 million. Total 5 million. The credit will be revaluation reserve 5 million. You will say why 5 million? Total debit credit barabar? No. From 48 to 53, what is the total gain? The asset value after the depreciation is 48. Maybe whatever the balances are there in the books. The asset value after depreciation is 48. And the value revalued figure is 53. The gain for the company is 5 million. Gain is increase in liability. The gain is given to the owners. The gain is payable to the owners. Loss is a decrease in liability. Gain is an increase in liability. That gain is a revaluation gain. Revaluation gain credit 5 million. Your debit credit will tally when you cancel accumulated depreciation. If somebody will do asset account, debit, property account, debit 5 million, wrong. Because property is already 50. You are doing 55, whereas the value is 53. After revaluation, the property should be, anybody should be able to see 53. Before revaluation, it was 50. After revaluation, 53. Even after 50 years, please understand, even after 50 years, when we see the notes to accounts annexure schedule, we will be able to see 50. We will be able to see revaluation 3. We will be able to see 53. कि भाई इतने सालों में कितना gain हुआ है? What gain has happened? A normal common man does not understand all this. He will see the balance sheet. He will see 53. He will dance. He don't understand accounts. A knowledgeable person like us don't see the balance sheet. Go in the notes to accounts. Go in the annexure. Go in the schedule. We'll see the asset schedule. We'll see 50. We see 3 million. Aha. This is the case. The original cost was 50, revalued to 53. So this becomes 53. The accumulated depreciation, no relevance, because now the depreciation will be there on 53. We have charged depreciation on 50, that is gone. that need to be eliminated. So accumulated depreciation cancel. And the total gain, which is gain on revaluation, is recorded in the books as increase in liability. Useful life remains same means it is not that 50 years. The total useful life of building remained unchanged. The useful life was earlier 50, still it is 50. But not that after 2 years further 50. From the beginning it was estimated 50, it remained unchanged. So when 2 years are over, now the balance life is still 48. There is no change in 48. That they are saying after. After this revaluation entry, the asset balance in the books property value 53. Accumulated depreciation laddu, it is gone. Revaluation reserve 5 million. Under equity in the balance sheet, revaluation reserve. There is no depreciation. Now we are going in 2013, third year. Again, third year, during the year, nothing. At the end of the year, again, revaluation. But during the year, there will be depreciation. 53 divided by 48. Because 53 is the revised value. 48 year is the life. So the depreciation for third year, 53 divided by 48. How much will be the amount? Say in 2 decimal places. 53 divided by 48. Say in 2 decimal places. 53 divided by 48. Say in 2 decimal places. 1.1 million. The journal entry will be profit and loss account debit, credit accumulated depreciation. Profit and loss account debit, decrease in assets. Profit and loss account debit, decrease in liability. And accumulated depreciation credit, decrease in asset, 1.1 million. Ultimately, the asset value is 53 minus 1.1. 53 is cost, revalued figure, and 1.1 accumulated depreciation. So net value 53 minus 1.1, that is 51.9. The net value at the end of third year, carrying value 53 minus 1.1, that is 51.9. But they have said third year, the revalued figure is 44. They are saying at the end of third year, prices has gone down, the revalued figure is 44. So what is the revaluation loss? What is the revaluation loss? 51.9 to 44. 51.9 to 44. Like in the last year, 48 to 53. Now it is 51.9 to 44. 7.9 million loss. Now please Kaushik or anybody don't say anything I am saying wrong. धीरे धीरे करके मैं ठीक करूंगा. मेरे को मालूम है राइट क्या है. बस धीरे धीरे, slowly. Slow and steady we will win the race. We cannot win the race by just going fast. Just syllabus completion. वैसे नहीं. Again, I will follow the same principle. The asset value is 53, not 51.9. That is with the 2 accounts. The asset value is 53. And now it is to be taken to 44. 53 to 44. The decrease is 9 million. So earlier there was increase in asset by 50 to 53, 3 million. Now there is decrease in asset. Property value will be credited by 9 million. Property credited by 9 million. Again, when there is a revaluation, whatever depreciation done is gone. Because now the depreciation will start on 44. So whatever depreciation done, cancel. Accumulated depreciation debit 1.1 million. Even though there was increase in the value, then also accumulated depreciation cancel. Even though there is decrease in the value, then also accumulated depreciation cancel. Doesn't matter whether there is increase or a decrease in the value. Accumulated depreciation will be cancelled. Because the accumulated depreciation will start on new value. The old value accumulated depreciation gone. Loss 9 credit, 1.1 debit, net loss 7.9 million. 7.9 million loss PL account debit. I discussed before this question, conservative principle. If there is loss on revaluation, PL account. If there is gain on revaluation, other comprehensive income. So that was recorded as revaluation gain, revaluation, but this is PL account. But this is the same asset which was revalued earlier And earlier in the second year, we have recorded 5 million gain. The accounting body is saying that if it is the same respective asset, which is revalued up in 1 year, and the gain recorded in revaluation reserve, and the same asset is revalued down in the subsequent year, then up till revaluation gain of earlier year, we need to adjust from revaluation gain only. We need to adjust from revaluation reserve only. So we will not transfer in third year 7.9 in PL account, 5 million revaluation reserve, and 2.9 million in the profit and loss account. Both are loss. Decrease in liability. Both are loss. But the net journal entry will be revaluation reserve debit 5 million. Profit and loss account debit 2.9 million. Asset account credit 9 million. Accumulated depreciation debit 1.1 million. 3 debits. Accumulated depreciation 1.1. Revaluation reserve 5. Profit and loss 2.9. And credit asset account by 9 million. When we will prepare PL account for third year. When we will prepare PL account for third year, not second year, third year. In the PL account, under cost of sale, we will write loss on revaluation 2.9. Under other comprehensive income, items cannot be reclassified to PL. We will write revaluation loss 5 million. So 1 year back, there was revaluation reserve balance 5 million. Now in the third year, that is gone. Now revaluation reserve has laddu. And the 2.9 million is recorded in PL account conservative principle. And the asset value in the balance sheet is coming 44 million. Because 53 to 44 million. Now in the fourth year, depreciation will be 44 divided by 47. Because 3 years already gone. So 47 year left, 44 by 47. Now again, maybe 4th year, 5th year, 6th year, we will do revaluation. When we are saying we will follow revaluation model, when we will follow revaluation need to be done with regular frequency. Regular frequency is not that every year, every 2 year, every 3 year, every 5 year. It's upon you. We just want that when we say we are following revaluation model, then we need to do revaluation whenever we are preparing financial statement at the end of the year. And we find that the value in the books is significantly different than the fair value in the market. Whatever value in the books after depreciation and all that, it's significantly different than the fair value in the market. We need to do the fair valuation at that time. You will say, what is significant difference? Nobody can explain. Nowhere written. Normally, as per my understanding, if I am the auditor or accountant anywhere, and we are following revaluation model, I will consider significant difference at least 10% difference. Suppose my assets value in the books is 1 lakh and the value in the market is 1 lakh 10 or 90,000. There is nowhere written that 10% is treated as significant difference. I'm just assuming. That is a subjective matter. The accounting body is saying that whenever you find that the carrying value in the books is significantly different than the fair value in the market, you are bound to do the revaluation. Otherwise, you say that I'm not following revaluation model. If you are saying that you follow revaluation model, when you will do revaluation, whenever there is a significant difference. Whenever you do revaluation, certified valuer, all the assets in the class need to be revalued. When the revaluation is done, the revalued amount may be greater than the carrying value, maybe less than the carrying value. If it is less, loss, PL account. If it is gain, other comprehensive income. If one asset is revalued up in 1 year, revaluation gain, other comprehensive. But the same asset is revalued down in subsequent year, then the downward revaluation will be adjusted from revaluation reserve. Extra loss will be recorded in PL. If one asset is revalued down in 1 year, suppose in this example, second year it is 44, but third year 53. Second year 44, third year 53. So second year revalued down. Second year, entire loss will be going in PL account. Now third year. Second year loss is 7.9. Second year loss is 7.9. Third year gain is 5 million. Now the gain is less than the loss. Earlier there was a loss 7.9 and now there is a gain less than 7.9. The entire gain will be going in PL account because in second year you have recorded loss in PL account. So now the third year gain up till 7.9 million will not be under other comprehensive income, will be recorded in PL account. Where? Under cost of sale. बोलेगा cost of sale तो expenditure है. If there are 10 items which are expense minus one item which is income, the 10 item total is 100 minus one item income 5. So 100 minus 5, 95 cost of sale. If 1 year you have recorded a loss on revaluation in PL, subsequent year same asset revalued up, the gain will be recorded in PL. But if the gain is more than the loss, then the extra portion will be going in other comprehensive. Same story for up and down. Here it is up in 1 year, recorded in revaluation reserve. The same asset is down next year. Till 5 million, it will be recorded in revaluation reserve, other comprehensive. Balance loss will be recorded in PL account. Whenever there is a revaluation, whenever up or down, the accumulated depreciation need to cancel. The asset cost will be compared with revalued amount. Increase debit asset, decrease credit asset. If it is gain, revaluation reserve. If it is loss, PL account debit. Unless it is next time. If it is first time, conservative. If it is next time, whatever we did earlier, the same thing we need to do next time again. Here it is next time. Why I have given this question? So that in the same example, I can cover 1 year increase in value, another year decrease in value. So that in the same example, I can cover whether it is increase or a decrease, accumulated depreciation need to be cancelled. Because once the revaluation done, the new value is subject for depreciation. So old accumulated depreciation need to cancel. And if there is same asset revalued up, down, then how the adjustment? Up revaluation gain, down also revaluation gain adjustment. For that reason, I have given this type of example. Now the answer is written in 2 ways. One is in the journal. Property 3, accumulated depreciation 2, credit revaluation reserve. By 31st December, there was a collapse in the property price. So now we can say debit, credit accumulated depreciation. First of all, I passed the journal entry for depreciation. Then asset account credit 53 to 44, accumulated depreciation debit, debit revaluation loss, balancing figure in the PL account, which is 2.9, which you all said, 2.9. Now the depreciation will be charged from 2014 on 44 million for 47 years. O does not perform a reverse transfer. What is this? I will say later. Just forget. Discuss how the books are writing the answer. The building would have been initially recognized at its cost 50 million. Depreciation 50 by 51 million per year would have been charged to PL account. And at the year end 31st December 2012 for both the years. At 31st December, the building has a carrying value this. Prior to the revaluation, a revaluation gain of 5 million would be recorded under other comprehensive income. In the year ended 31st December 13, the depreciation is 1.1 million. So the carrying value is 53 minus 1.1, 51.9. And the revalued figure is 44. So the revaluation loss is 7.9. Of this 5 million will be adjusted from revaluation reserve because the same asset was revalued up earlier. And the balance will be adjusted in PL account. This is called a discussion. Whether you pass journal entry, then also discussion is must. Because the question is asking discuss. So if you don't discuss, you will not be getting marks in the exam. You will say, sir, I passed journal entries. Journal entry is not a discussion. Then the question can say pass journal entry. So whether you pass journal entries or not doesn't matter. What is the requirement of the question? Discuss. We are discussing from the beginning, from the purchase of asset till the last third year revaluation. Everything we are discussing. The discussion of yours, mine, Kaplan, BPP, model answer, everybody will be different. Everybody has their own style. Nobody can say that ye comma full stop. You can't study like that. You will never be feeling confident. अभी शुरू से ही बोल रहा हूं, बिकॉज आप आगे 2-3 क्लास बाद बोलोगे सर दे आर राइटिंग सो मच. सर दे आर मैड. मैड मीन्स they are writing so many things exactly from the IFRS language, comma full stop, para, this, that. अरे भाई ये कैसे याद होएगा? You can't remember that. You need to understand the things right in your own language. As per the requirement of the question, the answer need to be built up. आप अगर ऐसा नहीं करोगे तो प्रॉब्लम होएगा. आप समझिए, ये मत समझिए कि आपको एग्जैक्टली ऐसे ही लिखना है. रिक्वायरमेंट है डिस्कस, हम उसको धीरे धीरे हौले हौले डिस्कस करेंगे. What is an asset, when they are recognized, what is the cost of the asset, what is the depreciation first year, second year, what is the carrying value at the end of second year, what is the revalued amount, so what is the revaluation gain, where it will be recorded, then third. ऐसे करके धीरे धीरे जाएंगे. The way the story is given in the question, that need to be covered that way, chronologically, serial. Whether it's a CIMA case study exam, IFRS exam, SBR exam, any exam of the world. Doesn't matter किसका क्या एग्जाम हो रहा है, सबको सेम फॉलो करना है. सेम स्टोरी सबके लिए, किसी के लिए अंतर नहीं. Now if somebody will say that I'm teaching English Hindi, अरे भाई I'm not teaching English Hindi language यार. Why you are thinking English Hindi and all that? You will not understand, reason being that you are not studying. With my class you need to study also. आप स्टडी नहीं करोगे तो आपको मैं हेल्प नहीं कर पाऊंगा. अभी कहानी खत्म नहीं हुआ. Just 5-10 minutes more, then there is any doubt, then we will finish. Suppose at the end of third year, fourth year, I'm doing depreciation, and fourth year, I'm selling the property. Fourth year depreciation 44 divided by 47. 44 divided by 47. Fourth year depreciation, how much it will come? 44 divided by 47. 0.93. The journal entry, profit and loss account, debit, credit, accumulated depreciation 0.94. So I'm selling the asset at the end of fourth year. I will not use. I'm selling. Suppose the sale price is 48 million. When I'm selling the asset, I'm getting cash. Increase in asset, cash account, debit 48 million. Relating to this asset, accumulated depreciation, no use. The asset is no more. What I will do with the accumulated depreciation? Accumulated depreciation, debit 0.94. Credit asset 44, all gone. Asset gone, decrease in asset, accumulated depreciation gone, cash received. Whatever the difference, profit on sale of asset, credit balancing figure. It is 48.94 minus 44, 4.94. That profit on sale of asset is not a revaluation, it's sold, gain. The profit on sale of asset will be coming in PL account. The asset is gone. In the cash balance, we will add 48 million. If the asset is sold out for 40 million, then also same. Cash account debit 40. Accumulated depreciation debit 0.94. Property account credit 44. Debit loss on sale of asset, whatever is the loss balancing figure. That loss will be going in the PL account. It is not a revaluation loss, sale loss. Loss. When there is a sale, then the loss or gain will be going in PL. But this is an asset which was revalued earlier. This is an asset which was revalued earlier and we are selling. Yes, realized loss or gain. When the asset is sold out, then it is realized loss or gain. Realized loss or gain go to PL account only. But this is an asset which was revalued earlier. And earlier you have recorded revaluation reserve as a gain. So at the time of sale of asset, if there is a loss, if it is a gain, that's other thing. If there is a loss, the loss can be adjusted from revaluation reserve of this asset. Like when an asset is revalued up and the same asset is revalued down, then at the time of downward revaluation, you can adjust from revaluation reserve. Similarly, if an asset is revalued up and the same asset is sold out, at the time of sale, we suffer loss. The loss can be adjusted from revaluation reserve of this asset. If you have, if you don't have, then loss will be going to PL. So in this case, if I will say that there is no third year revaluation loss, second year gain, there is no third year revaluation. So your revaluation gain 5 million is there. So when you are suffering loss at the time of sale, You can debit revaluation reserve up till 5 million. You can adjust the loss on sale of asset from revaluation reserve of the same asset if you have. If not, then nothing can be done. If you adjust the revaluation reserve for loss on sale, for loss on revaluation, anything. If you adjust the loss on sale of assets from revaluation reserve, or if you adjust the loss on revaluation from revaluation reserve, please understand one thing. Again, I am going in PL account. Again, I am going in PL account. This is PL account. We are saying in PL account, other comprehensive income items cannot be classified to PL. Revaluation gain second year 5 million. Revaluation gain second year 5 million. Third year revaluation loss greater than 5. But third year PL account, I will be writing here revaluation loss 5 million under other comprehensive only. And third year, I will write in the PL account under cost of sale 2.9 million loss on revaluation. If I will say that second year revaluation gain and third year no revaluation loss, and fourth year I am selling the asset at a loss. So fourth year loss I am adjusting from revaluation gain. So loss on revaluation will be coming here up till 5 million. Loss on revaluation in fourth year under other comprehensive income will be coming up till 5 million. I am assuming loss is greater than 5. If the loss is less than 5, that much loss will be coming. Adjustment with the revaluation reserve means what? If you are recording revaluation gain here, then the loss on revaluation, loss on sale will be written here only under other comprehensive income, not in the PL account. When you are saying that we will adjust loss from revaluation reserve, that means you need to write loss under other comprehensive income. You will say not reclassified means what? Not reclassified means whatever revaluation reserve you have recorded earlier, that can never become profit for the period, can never. Maybe when the asset is sold out, the revaluation reserve you can transfer to retained earning whatever balance left. That is upon you. But in the PL account, it will never become profit for the period. That is, we are saying not reclassified to PL. In a statement of changes in equity, you can transfer to retained earning when the asset is disposed of, but it will never be part of profit for the period. Conservative principle, loss in PL, gain in other comprehensive income. So there can be revaluation, there can be disposal of assets, or the assets is out of order, you are not going to use, you will throw it out. That is type of disposal only. If you dispose, you will get money. If you don't dispose, it is out of order, it is gone. There is no cash debit. There is no money you are getting. Asset credit, accumulated depreciation, debit, balance loss. Balance fully gone. Whether it's a decommissioning, whether you are not going to use the asset, whether you are disposing the asset, the loss will be going in PL account. But if it is related to an asset which was revalued earlier, then it will be adjusted from revaluation reserve only. Last line, which I have not said up till now. The example which we have done, asset 50, revalued to 53, then revalued to 44, that example. In the second year, we have done the revaluation to 53. So after second year, in the third year, depreciation was 1.1 million. But if there was no revaluation, then the depreciation in the third year would have been 1 only. If the second year, this example only which we discussed, this example in the second year, we are doing revaluation 53. So third year, depreciation is 53 divided by 48, 1.1. But if the second year, there is no revaluation, then in the third year, depreciation would still be 1 million 50 by 50. No revaluation. Suppose in the third year, they are not finding significant difference, they are not doing revaluation. They are not doing fair valuation. So in the third year, extra depreciation 0.1 million due to revaluation. In the third year, extra depreciation 0.1 million due to revaluation. The accounting body is saying that. The accounting body is saying that a reserve transfer for the excess depreciation arising from revaluation. The accounting body is saying that there is an option on every organization. Whatever the extra depreciation due to revaluation, they can transfer that extra depreciation every year from revaluation reserve to retained earnings. They can. There is no compulsion. Whatever extra depreciation due to revaluation, they can transfer that extra depreciation from revaluation reserve to retained earning every year. Means in a statement of changes in equity, you are not selling the asset in third year, fourth year, never. You are not selling. But third year, the depreciation is 0.1 million extra. You are charging in PL account depreciation 1.1. Forget that. But in the statement of changes in equity, you can do from revaluation reserve 0.1 minus retained earning 0.1 plus. Whatever the extra depreciation you can transfer from revaluation reserve to retained earning every year. What I said earlier, I have not said this. I said that when the asset is sold out, when you are getting realized gain, then the realized gain can be transferred from revaluation reserve to retained earning. I said, but if suppose you have decided that you will do this every year because of extra depreciation, you will transfer from revaluation reserve to retained earning. You can do that. Every year 0.1 million in statement of changes in equity from revaluation to retained earning. Every year you will transfer. So by the time you will sell the asset, every balance of revaluation reserve will be transferred to retained earning, because every year you will do. But this is not a compulsion. It is saying that O company does not perform a transfer. Why it is saying? In the question it is not written that the company has decided to transfer excess depreciation to revaluation reserve every year, to retained earning every year. Not written. If not written, that means not done. I am just saying here, the company has not decided to transfer extra depreciation to retained earning. They have not decided, but the company can do that. Aap chaho, if you want, you can transfer extra depreciation every year in a statement of changes in equity. That's not a compulsion, option on you. So what we are saying, what is an asset? What is a non-current asset? When initially it will be recognized, documents, the proof, the cost. Later on, you can follow the cost model or revaluation model. When you follow revaluation model, certified valuer, one class, then regularly revaluation need to be done based on the significant difference. When you do revaluation, increase or decrease, accumulated depreciation cancel, increase or decrease revaluation reserve or PL account. If the same asset which is revalued down, revalued up, the up portion will be going in PL. If the same asset which is revalued up, later on revalued down, down portion will be going in revaluation reserve only. And it may be possible that every year extra depreciation you can transfer to retained earnings. Whenever the asset is disposed of, asset balance, accumulated depreciation, all cancel. Whatever money you receive, balance is loss or gain. If it is a loss and it is relating to an asset which was revalued earlier, then the loss will be adjusted from revaluation reserve only. It's not a compulsion, but you can adjust the loss from revaluation reserve if you have revaluation reserve relating to that asset. What is a non-current asset? When it will be accounted for? Initially at what value? Later on at what value? What is depreciation? What is accumulated depreciation? What is revaluation? How to account for revaluation? What is revaluation reserve? Where profit or loss will be recorded? That we are discussing. That is called IAS 16, property, plant and equipment. Under non-current asset, one aspect, property, plant and equipment. Property, plant and equipment is explained in IAS 16. The definition of property, plant, equipment, initial recognition, subsequent recognition, depreciation, depreciable amount, revaluation adjustments, disposal adjustments, and disclosure. Disclosure means the asset are followed at cost, revalued figure, depreciation method, rate, the details in the notes to accounts, original cost, accumulated depreciation, all. That disclosure need to be given in notes to accounts. That is all called IAS 16 property, plant and equipment. For the time being, any specific question. Maybe somebody will say that I need to revise. That I know. I am teaching for years. उनसे निकलता है यार, अलग बात. लेकिन आपको डिवीजन तो करना, लेकिन फॉर द टाइम बिंग आपको कुछ समझना है. फॉर द टाइम बिंग देयर इज सम क्वेश्चन, देयर इज सम डाउट इन योर माइंड which is not clear, you want to discuss, I am there.
सर कोई असेट का रिवैल्यूएशन रिजर्व जो क्रिएट किया है बिकॉज ऑफ द इंक्रीज इन द वैल्यू, तो जब सेल करते हैं तो उसी असेट का रिवैल्यूएशन रिजर्व में से फर्स्ट उसको एडजस्ट करना है, उसके बाद
लॉस के लिए एडजस्ट कर सकते हैं. अगर आपका सेल करने के टाइम पे लॉस होता है तो वो रिवैल्यूएशन रिजर्व से आप एडजस्ट कर सकते हैं.
मतलब वो कंपल्सन नहीं है,
कंपल्सरी नहीं है सर,
पूरा,
लेकिन सभी लोग करते हैं. The accounting body is
बराबर.
saying that it is not a compulsion, but everybody do that.
ओके.
और अगर आपको बेचने से गेन होता है तो बात ही नहीं है. आपका रिवैल्यूएशन रिजर्व तो गेन था ही अभी आपका, और बिकॉज 50 से 53 हो गया एंड स्टिल यू आर सेलिंग एट 55. सो पहले का 5 मिलियन तो गेन है ही, एंड देन फर्दर 2 मिलियन और गेन आ गया, तो फिर एडजस्ट करने का बात ही नहीं.
बात ही नहीं, बराबर, टोटल गेन हो गया.
और जो पहले वाला रिवैल्यूएशन है आप उसको रिटेन्ड अर्निंग में ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं, कंपलसरी नहीं है. लेकिन अभी का गेन तो पीएल अकाउंट में लिखना ही है, वो अदर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव में नहीं आएगा, बिकॉज वो तो रियलाइज्ड है ना, वो तो कंजर्वेटिव प्रिंसिपल, पैसा आपके पॉकेट में आ गया 53 से 55. सो व्हेन यू गॉट द मनी इन पॉकेट, रिकॉर्ड इट एज अ गेन. व्हाई अदर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव?
ओके ओके,
ठीक है ना, सब लॉजिकल है. अगर आप लॉजिक्स को पकड़ेंगे तो आपको कुछ पढ़ना ही नहीं है. और अगर मान लीजिए वी वांट टू मग अप, तो यार जितना भी पढ़ लेंगे कम पड़ जाएगा, बात ही है. ओके सर, but 7:30 is a big time, sir. It is 11:30, 12. How much he will sleep? 6 hours. Get up, do a breakfast and everything. क्या problem है यार? It is not every day. If it is every day, maybe it's hectic. But always remember that Wednesday there is a start timing 8 o'clock, no end time. End time based on कहां पर हम लोग खत्म कर रहे हैं. Before leaving, just few things. आपको ये SBR का स्टडी टेक्स्ट है, नॉन करंट एसेट्स है, नॉन करंट एसेट चैप्टर है. नॉन करंट एसेट चैप्टर के अंदर you are given some illustration, you are given, the chapter is starting from page number 112. IAS 16 property, plant and equipment. So ये chapter के अंदर suppose there is an illustration and test your illustration तो नहीं है, test your understanding है. Slightly और जोर से राविश जी, सुना नहीं?
No, sir, it's clear. Okay.
Acha, no problem. I'm saying that this test your understanding. One, you will be reading the question. You will be writing your answer. Don't see back. At the end of the chapter, the answer is given. After writing your answer, then see back what they have written. And if there is any confusion, then you ask in the next class. But you can't do any question from exam kit. Because if you do any question from exam kit, they are not only IAS 16. They are covering 3-4 IAS. So let me finish some 5-6 IAS. Then in that case, you can do a question, good amount of question which came in the exam relating to non-current assets. Abhi keval ek se hoega nahi. So you can't do a question, you can do this question. Other questions you can't do. आपको ये क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करना है, आपको क्लास का रिकॉर्डिंग करना है. आफ्टर द क्लास रिकॉर्डिंग यू नीड टू डू द सेम क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल विच वी हैव सॉल्व्ड इन द क्लास. ये हमने जो डिस्कस किया जिसका आंसर लिखा हुआ है, फिर आप ये वाला क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करोगे स्टडी टेक्स्ट से, फिर इसका आंसर देखोगे, और जो भी जरूरत है, डाउट है, आप पहले से तैयार रहोगे. या यू कैन मेल before the class. If you can't attend the live class, I will open your mail, discuss at length in the class. Still Mr. Soman Das. That is manageable, sir. थोड़ा आधा घंटा कम सो लेंगे एक दिन, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? If you think like that, then I will be teaching many times till 12:30 also. I'm not concerned because this is a free time, na? We don't have tension of going to office. In the morning time, we cannot stretch so much, but in the evening time, we can stretch. Like in the beginning, we have 29:30. Half of them already gone. I have not said them. Those who want to put pressure on them, they will get the result. और जिसको रिकॉर्डिंग करना, रिकॉर्डिंग तो प्रीवियस बैच का ही है यार, नथिंग एल्स यार. ओके. So what I said, please follow me, please study. आपके पास 4-5 दिन है, मंडे मॉर्निंग मिलेंगे हम लोग. So by that, finish off the entire study of IAS 16, be with the class. अगर टाइम है तो थोड़ा आगे पढ़ लो, एक्स्ट्रा नोट्स पढ़ लेना, प्रीवियस रिकॉर्डिंग कर लेना. इफ यू गेट एक्स्ट्रा टाइम, बी रेडी इन एडवांस विद द क्लास, नो प्रॉब्लम. 2-3 क्लास होने के बाद आगे बढ़ने का मौका ही नहीं मिलेगा. I will be always आगे, you will be always back. Okay? Whatever your doubts may be exhausted now, whatever doubts are there, you all can ask in the next class, no problem. Okay? Thank you to all of you.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
कोई टेंशन नहीं है. टाटा, बाय बाय. Take care, all of you. Study
You
hard.
too, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.